What's up, internets? It's Castle Macalite time, Wednesday night into the Borderlands. I'm Wiley Hobbit, I'm your DM. Big thanks to the Castle Mac crew, especially Steven, who's the man behind the curtain, so don't look at him because yikes. Yeah, so he's producing us. They're very excited. I'd like to thank them for having us on their channel. For those of you in chat, thanks for hanging out. We're going to play some D&D. Let's go around the group real quick. Again, I'm Wiley Hobbit. You can find me here on occasional Wednesdays DMing this game, and also on a Monday night game on Welcome Party RPG called New to the Party. Let's go around and introduce ourselves and tell us who you are, where we can find you, who you're playing. Then we'll do a recap of what the last session was all about, and then we're going to get into some D&D. So let's start with Abby Latheris. Tell us about yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm Abby, the Scothleodio across the internet. I'm just a zoology student at Oswego, and my character is Latheris, a Devon Bull Minotaur, who is a barbarian. All in all, good boy. Just looking to make some friends.
Sweet boy.
Sweet boy Minotaur. And some friends he has made indeed. How about my friend, Ms. Misery? What's going on, Ms. Misery?
Not too much. Looking forward to playing into the Borderlands again, finally. I'm playing Harlow, the golden tiefling hexblade. And follow me on Twitter because I'm in a bunch of different places, so it's easier to find out the shows from there.
Awesome. Great. How about, tell us about Pavel Mansard.
Yes, I'm Devin, and I play Pavel Mansard, ever chipper human archer, arcane archer. You can find me on Twitch and Discord as Utilitas. I hang out around in the Castle Mac a lot, and on Twitter as ArcDevin.
Nice. And last but certainly not least, with her description of her character and our recap of last session, Shannon/Flint. Tell us all about that, Shannon.
Well, hey everybody, I'm Shannon Logic across all the internet, and I'm playing Flint. The best way to describe her would probably be rock made of pure rage and bad decision making. So, where we last left off, we had ascended the spiral staircase into basically what seemed like a basement, full of a swarm of rats and a very rat-like kobold that seemed to control them. We dispatched them quickly enough, moved on to what appeared to be the base of a guard tower, where we were just attacking an onslaught of kobolds, just one after the other. Flying kobolds with like a harem of ladies, and we found a bunch of pretty cool shiny rocks that they'd been collecting. But what happened as we were leaving off was very strange. We started to hear a lovely voice singing a song, and that is where we come in tonight.
All right. And so big picture, they are on a mission, this group is, from Lord Thanon. We are set in Greyhawk. We're playing one of the original D&D modules. This is B1, Into the Unknown. It's the Goodman Games version, Into the Borderlands. So if you've seen that in stores, we're playing in this bad boy right here. And we are actually on session 10, and it is time to D&D. Are you all ready?
Hell yeah.
All right, chat, are we ready to go? I'm nervous tonight. I don't know why. I'm ready to D&D. I guess it's just been a little too long, so hopefully the rust will come off and I'll be ready to DM. Here we go. So you find yourselves actually in the second level above ground. You've ascended into this tower made of stone, wood floors. There's been some holes. The level you're on, you're in kind of a circular upper room, third floor of this tower. It's about 20 feet in diameter. There's a 10-foot high ceiling above you. The ceiling is made of rotting timbers. That's been kind of the flooring. You can tell this tower's been here a long time. There's some gaps and some holes, revealing yet another level that, if you remember when you went outside the tower, it's kind of shaped, the sides are kind of concave. So your guess is that the level above you is probably the top, the wide level up there that had sort of the cone, almost wizard's hat shaped roof on the top. They're kind of heavy wood shingles on the roof with holes and things. So you can actually see a little bit of dusk. We're getting into the evening hours, the twilight, through a couple of the holes in the ceiling, which is the floor to the level above you, and out into the night sky through a couple of holes in that wood roofing ceiling. There is a bit of dim setting sunlight coming in through 6 arrow slits that are placed equidistant around the walls of the level you're in. Again, a 20-foot diameter circular chamber. Near each arrow slit, if you recall, there's a pile of rubble and rocks, rags, cloth, torn things. Kind of smells of bad animal smell, droppings and sweat, and just animal smell. Again, from what you've been able to tell, clearly a tribe of kobolds has taken up residence here. You've dispatched several kobold warriors. You dealt with a kobold sorcerer and 3 large females. They are deceased on the floor in the chamber you're in. You did have some winged kobolds, a few of whom may have vanished into the night air. You're not quite sure where. And if you recall, you were treated to a bit of treasure in this room. This seemed to be kind of a lair of that kobold leader sorcerer that you took down. Just a little bit of coin. You found an empty silver flask, if you recall. Some nicely fashioned little gold buttons. Looked like maybe they'd been torn off of a piece of fine clothing. A large yellow gem, very large, flint. In fact, if you recall, you were thinking maybe topaz, and probably quite valuable. A little dolphin carved out of bone. Likes the villain who's not with us tonight, being from the coast, recognize that as some scrimshaw. Probably has some value. 4 green little agates or aggies, kind of moss colored, a little bit of value, but nothing like the big topaz. And that was kind of what was the accumulation of that treasure. And so as our scene faded out last time, you were catching your breath from the battle. 2 or 3 of those winged kobolds had gone up through the ceiling and vanished. And you heard this haunting, incredibly beautiful singing just kind of wafting down from above you. Maybe quite possibly the most amazing, beautiful, touching singing you've possibly heard in your life. And so what I'd like to do here is have Flint, Pavel, and Harlow, if you would please make a saving throw for me. I'm going to tell you what that's all about here in a second.
No, what kind of saving throw, good sir?
I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw, and your DC in this case is an 11.
Okay, that's not my worst one, but it's not my best either.
So let me know if you make your saving throw or if you do not.
I do not. I rolled
good.
I make a 13. Wait. Yeah, Jesus, 18.
Flint, how did you do?
I got a 17.
Okay, so Pavel did not make it. Lethyrus, you're fine. You do not need to make a saving throw. Okay, you do hear the music, but you don't need to make a saving throw. And so what you notice, Devin, Pavel, you find yourself overcome with a desire to get to where the music is coming from. You feel yourself compelled strongly. You're almost in tears. This music is stirring your soul like nothing you've ever heard before. And it is now your life's mission to find its source and get to it.
Is there like a rope up or a staircase or anything?
No, but the music is definitely coming from there.
Okay. I drop my backpack on the.
It's got you.
I drop my backpack on the ground, take out a bit of rope, and wrap it around an arrow. Fire it up through one of the holes in the floor.
Good. Give me an attack roll.
Okay. 27.
Okay. So you guys see Pavel rear back, boom, and fire this rope up into some of those wooden cedar shakes. There's a couple of beams that all kind of come together, almost like the inside of a teepee might be, if there were, the wooden framing in there. And the arrow just lodges solidly into that. And Pavel, you can tug on that rope, and it appears to be ready for your next decision.
All right, I frantically start climbing.
Okay, so you guys see Pavel heading up the rope through the hole in the ceiling. There are
Can I grab his ankle?
3 holes around various locations in the ceiling. what I'd like to do is have Pavel start us off with an athletics check.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a DC 14 on that because you're, you got to haul your weight up there. But I'm going to give you an advantage because you are as motivated to accomplish this as you've been to accomplish anything in your life.
Okay, that's going to be a 14 exactly.
Okay, so you start to make your way with some effort. So you see Pavel, trying to scramble up the rope. His pack, he's cast it aside on the floor, and he is headed up. Harlow, you said you'd like to grab his ankle.
Yes, please.
Hit me with a dexterity check, if you would, please.
12.
12. Okay, what is your dex?
My dex is +2.
Okay. All right, so you get a hold of the cuff of whatever type of trouser he's wearing, but you're not going to have a hold of him for long.
Somebody help me!
All right, I'm going to take one of my hand axes and throw it up high on the rope to try and cut it.
Okay. So you're throwing a hand axe, attempting to cut a rope.
Yeah.
Climbing it. Okay. So
I'm gonna get under them in case this goes wrong.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to make an attack roll.
All right.
Apply your ranged weapon bonus, so your dex bonus.
Alrighty.
And whatever proficiency you have that goes with that.
Natural 20.
Okay, so you see Flint, kind of wink, throw her axe and expertly hit that rope. Pavel, you're just a few feet off the ground, so you drop. Make me an acrobatics check to see if you land on your feet or not.
Land on me, I'm stabbing you.
Nat 20.
Okay, so Pavel is back down. Kayla, hit me with a dex check to scramble out of the way. Excuse me.
19.
Okay, so you manage to sidestep as Pavel comes crashing down, lands on both feet. Continue.
I immediately grab another arrow, pick up the cut rope, and
I'm grabbing his arm.
Okay.
I will tackle him if I need to.
Let's make an opposed strength check.
Oop.
Just straight up strength.
Yeah. She's going to try to stop you by grabbing your arm and pulling you away from your shot.
13.
13.
Okay. I'm going to give Pavel advantage on this. So roll me a second roll because you are absolutely motivated.
Dirty 20.
Okay. So you free your arm, shake it off, and go ahead and give me an attack roll with your next arrow shot.
18.
Okay. Once again, you embed an arrow, maybe not as solidly as the last one, but it's, you tug on it and you're ready to climb.
I go.
Athletics, please. Again, what did we say? DC 14, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Before you do that, hit me with another wisdom save.
Okay. 9.
Okay, man, you are climbing away, buddy.
17.
17. Okay, so you're making your way back up. And as you see Pavel scaling this rope, and he's now off the ground and elevating into, again, he's only got to go up 10 feet until he's coming through the ceiling. You hear a cackling between melodic phrases, very evil. That's it. Come to me. Come to me. And then the singing starts again.
I tried. He can die now. I don't care.
Ah, damn it.
I'm gonna grab him. I'm tall enough to grab him. I'm gonna grab him.
Yeah, you sure are. Hit me with a strength check. In fact, make it athletic.
Absolutely. Even better. $15.
15. Okay, so you managed to get a hold of his ankle. And Pavel, you're stuck.
Oh, wait,
You're
I'm sorry.
coming down. What's that?
Incorrect. That was way more than 15. It was 24.
Okay. So you feel a strong pull on your ankle, Pavel, as a big, meaty minotaur hand grabs it and starts to yank, and you're getting a little rope burn. I'd like you to make an athletics check to hang on to that rope.
Dirty 20.
Okay, so you pull him down a couple feet, but he's still on the rope.
Like arms straining.
Yeah.
That's it. Come to me. Come to me.
And the singing
Flame, can you give me a hand here? Can you cut the rope,
Hold on.
maybe?
Hold on a second. And I grab my other hand axe and I just start climbing the rope because I'm going up there to deal with this shit.
You like climbing over me?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll follow.
All right, I
Someone
guess
needs
I'll
to
be
babysit
down
your children. I'll follow.
That's awesome. Okay, Flint, make me an athletics check to climb over Pavel.
All right, that's going to be a 21.
Okay, so you see Flint scramble up. Pavel, you get stepped on, and you're not sure what's going on. Flint is now above you and ascending close to the ceiling. Who else is taking an action?
I'll follow.
Okay.
That one can. Neither one of you can be trusted. I swear to God.
Um,
When did I become the mom member of this party?
Because Layala's not here.
Pavel is about halfway up.
Still straining to pull myself
Yeah,
up.
Lethyrus has got a death grip on his ankle. Harlow is about to ascend at the bottom of the rope. Flint is above Pavel. Flint, your head is at the ceiling, at the hole. What do? You have a hand axe in one hand or in your teeth? What are you doing there?
Yeah, I have a hand axe in one hand, the other hand axe in my teeth, and I just sort of pull myself up into the opening.
Okay. So what do you do? Where do you cast your gaze as your head breaks the plane of the floor? It's rotting lumber. It stinks. More of the same type of smell.
All right, I just sort of try to do a quick, look around the entire room.
Okay.
Just sweeping.
Okay, so I'm going to give you your choice. What direction would you like to be facing, north, south, east, or west, as you ascend this rope in through the gap in the floor? I'm going to say you're coming up through the southernmost gap. That's the largest gap in the floor. There's a gap kind of northwest of that and a gap at east.
I'm going to stare north.
Okay, so your back is to the wall. You kind of pull up on the rope and you look. And as you look north, you see a huge metal, like a cast iron or whatever, I guess bronze bell that looks like it probably used to hang in this tower. And it's actually upside down. And you see perched inside the bell an evil, horrifying visage. Let me describe this for you so I get the full... Okay, where is it? All right, so you see the torso of... you see the head of a human woman, the arms and torso, bare-chested, of a human female, but she looks grotesque, misshapen, gaunt, and you see these huge vulture wings behind her and talons instead of hands, and the legs and talons of a vulture as she's perched on the edge of this bell, and she's kind of wailing along, and this incredibly beautiful song is coming out of this clearly evil, nasty-looking thing, and her eyes just absolutely just chill your soul with the evil and the malice as she looks at you as you enter her chamber. And she cackles and points up, and I'm going to have us all roll initiative.
Including Pavel and I?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm rolling garbage today, y'all.
What do you got?
21 for Lethyrus.
8.
8. Okay, Flint, what you got?
16.
Ooh. Is it good when the DM goes, ooh?
Never.
Harlow, what you got for initiative, kiddo?
I'm having massive tech issues. What I have? 15.
15. Okay.
Yeah. I actually, the way things are going, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna crash. So I will be back in a couple of minutes if something happens. I really apologize, guys.
It happens.
Okay.
It happens. We will soldier on. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You see, Flint, this creature extends a talon and points. Get them! It cackles at something above you all in the ceiling of this chamber. And what's your armor class?
16.
Okay. So as you're there, you feel the crushing thud of something really, really hard landing on your shoulders as a large rock drops upon you. And you suffer a total of 5 points of damage as a rock drops from somewhere above you. It looks, eerily similar to the your assumption is that it's probably another of those winged kobolds dropping rocks from above.
Right.
Didn't they learn better after what I did to them last time?
Harlow, you notice as you're standing still on the floor about to scale that rope next to Lethyrus, a rock comes down through a hole in the ceiling that's to the east of you, harmlessly to the floor. Thud. Okay. So, with that, Lethyrus, you are next.
This is a predicament. I guess I let Pavel go.
Okay.
And
Well,
then
that doesn't take an action, so you can do more stuff.
yeah, I guess I let Pavel go and try to get up there with Flint.
Okay. So as you let Pavel go, he was in the act of climbing, so he's going to start up the rope. I think that's probably a safe bet. Is that a safe bet, Pavel? Okay. So you're going to be behind him coming up the rope. Are you going to try to scale the rope then?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh. Didn't roll good on that one.
Okay, what'd you get?
If it was athletics, that'd be 7.
Yeah, so athletics.
I'm sorry. 8. My bad.
Yeah, so you're having a little bit of a challenge getting your grip on this rope, because as he's climbing it, the rope's kind of moving around. Flint is also on the rope, so you have opposing weights doing all kind of things to the rope, and as you go to pull yourself up, your hands slip and you drop back to your feet. Being 7 foot what?
7'2".
Yeah, so you were hardly off the floor at this point because, again, Pavel is ahead of you. Flint is on the rope. It's a 10-foot to the ceiling, so you're not really hardly able to get started. So thankfully, you're not going to take any falling damage or any issues like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Harlow will be back, as she said. Next in initiative order will be Flint, followed by Harlow if she's back.
All right, so I'm going to stash my axes, pull out my bow, and cast Hunter's Mark on this gross harpy.
Okay.
And take a shot.
Okay. Are you still on the rope?
I think I climbed up at this point.
Okay. Because I would let you finish your movement, use your movement to...
Yeah.
What do you move, like 30 normally?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's say you're able to pull yourself up, get on the floor, bonus action Hunter's Mark, and you can take a shot with your bow. That should be doable.
All right, that's going to be a dirty 20.
Okay. That is A-OK. Nice shot. Roll your damage, please.
All right, so let's see. That's 1d8 with an extra 1d6. Okay, so that's going to be 15 damage.
Okay. Very good. Nice shot. So you see, well, no, you're the only one. You just see an arrow bury into kind of where the elbow and the wing come together, and the harpy's like, "Ah, you little bitch!" She's cursing at you and spitting and squealing. You notice a weird thing about her, though. I described her face and everything, but she's wearing a cape, and it's a cape that looks like it's almost like it's made of red scales, big red scales, which seems odd on this creature. Like it's like, why is she wearing this? And she has this, you can see her human face, but she has this strange mask, and it has red scales like the cape, and almost a little bit of a snout, and 2 like big incisor fangs, and little pointed ears, and maybe even a couple of horns, like some kind of a lizard-like mask that she's wearing with this cape. as she's, clutching at this arrow as you hit her. Okay, we got Harlow next. There you are. Harlow, it is your turn. You are at the bottom beside Lethyrus. He's tried to climb the rope and was unsuccessful. Pavel is ascending. Flint is through the hole, having fired an arrow. You could hear the familiar twang of her bow, and the screeching of whatever it is up there tells you she probably scored a hit.
Okay, I'm going to scramble up there as quickly as I can.
Okay, well, you're in line behind Lethyrus and Pavel. Lethyrus was unable to navigate the rope. Are you going to try to then grab the rope and climb up ahead of him?
I'm going to scale Lethyrus if I have to.
Okay.
Probably easier than the rope.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd like to assist her with this because I'm tall enough to help her, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. Very good. So roll in athletics.
Yeah, it's a 15 straight.
Okay. So you're on the rope. Lethyrus is kind of, nudging you. You feel strong hands on your posterior kind of pushing you up. And Pavel, you feel someone right behind you on the rope. Okay. And so speaking of Pavel, you are next in initiative, please.
You're muted.
I'm going up.
Okay. Make another saving throw.
Oh, yeah. Wisdom, right? Yep.
Yeah, wisdom.
5.
Man, dude.
Excellent.
Wow.
I'm rolling trash.
Okay. Keep climbing. Athletics check.
Okay. So. Okay. I'm rolling trash on the things that matter.
15?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you're able to ascend. You come through the floor, and you see this large bird-like woman. It's, again, a bare human female torso, kind of scarred, scratched up, big vulture legs, big vulture wings that are now spread. There's an arrow embedded in one of the wing elbows. It's squealing and spitting at Flint, who's holding her bow. And you notice the same red, scaly cape and some sort of like a scaly helm or mask on its head. And it is, when it sees you, it just grins, this evil, sadistic, and it licks its lips. Ah, there you are. Oh, you're a beautiful one. Yes. As you pull yourself through. That was your movement. I'll give you a bonus action on top of that since you had to come halfway up that rope to this point.
Okay. So I see this absolutely radiant being in front of me. And then out of the corner, but there's an arrow sticking out of it. Why is there an arrow sticking out of it? And I look over and I see that who is this who would hurt my beloved so? I'm going to try to bonus action swat the bow out of your hand.
Okay.
I hate
If you're okay with that.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead and reach over there.
What do you want this to be?
Let's do a dex, contested dexterity. Okay, so Flint, I'm going to give you a reaction as you see this to avoid this.
18 on me.
30-20.
Okay.
Hate you.
I'm rolling
nice.
really well on the things that'll fuck us over. What's happening?
Because D&D. Yeah, I like it. DM's will is prevailing at the moment. So describe for us what happens, Pavel.
Again, beautiful creature, arrow. Why arrow? Who are you? I like grab the bow and I rip it out of your hands and like throw it across the room.
Pavel, you idiot!
My eyes are like glazed over, by the way, like just dead.
The creature reacts.
Very good, very nice.
And she inhales and takes a huge deep breath.
Oh no.
And she aims her breath weapon at
I knew it.
the two of you.
I knew it.
And you are engulfed in this searing hot blast of fire as you feel the heat from her breath weapon. I need you both to make a saving throw, and I'll tell you versus what here in just a second.
Question.
Yes.
Does the breath weapon seem to come from her mouth or almost radiate from the dragon mask, if we will?
Give me a perception at disadvantage.
Hey. Cool. 16.
Okay. So it's hard to tell, but it seems odd, almost like it's not out of her mouth, but it's definitely coming from her face.
Yeah. Okay.
And it seems odd to you that this, whatever this is able to somehow breathe fire. Yes. How did we do? Okay, I got to give you what that saved.
But you said dex check, yeah.
Yeah, we did the bow. Bear with me here a second, gang.
Okay. I rolled a 17.
Okay.
For dex.
Okay. My bestiary is being slow. Hang on. There we go. Okay. Okay, it's a DC 17 Dex saving throw.
Just made it.
19.
Okay. So, let me get some sixers out, shall we?
Oh,
Shiitake mushrooms.
breath weapons, man.
And you guys both made your saves, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 8, 9, 10, 21. Okay, half of 25, so you guys each take 12. 12
Jeez.
damn hot fire damage.
It's not great.
It's not awesome. And it's hot and it burns.
And I'm all about it. I just go, yes.
I hate you so
Bathe
much.
me in your love.
Nice. And that brings us back around to the top of the order, which takes us to Lytheria. Lytheris, excuse me. Good grief. I'm just making shit
I
up.
would I'd like to try to get back, or rather up into the hole again. And hopefully
Okay.
succeed this time.
Yep, Harlow is close to the ceiling. You can grab the rope. Give me an athletics check, and let's see what happens.
16.
Okay, you are ascending the rope. Harlow, you're right behind her. Her face is now at ceiling level or floor level for the level they're on. And you're kind of jammed up. You can't really do much beyond that at this point. So we're going to move to Flint. Your bow is the room you're in is 50 feet in diameter, and your bow is against the western wall about 20 feet from you. The creature is on the bell against the northern wall directly across from that hole in the floor that you ascended. So your bow is to the left about 15 feet.
All right. I'm going to... How far away is the bell?
From where you are now, it is about 30 feet. And it is perched upon the edge of the bell.
All right. Is the bell hollow still? Like, is there not stuff in it?
It looks like she's made a nest. So there's, sticks and brush and, grasses and things, like it's maybe her sleeping place.
All right. I'm going to rush up to the bell, and using the butt of my axes, I'm just going to bang on it with all my strength, trying to knock it over, but also trying to just, create this horrible sound.
Okay. So take your movement and go ahead and swing at the bell with your axe. So you're going to use like the side of the axe. How you give me a good description?
I'm
of this.
gonna use like the butt end of the axe, which has like a metal cap on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So. Dirty 20.
Nice. Okay, so you hammer this bell, and she looks down and shrieks at you as you do this. Just and she, because of the reverberations, the bell just makes this dull, heavy metallic kind of a thud. It's not going to resonate because she's clutching it, so it can't really vibrate well, and it's full of, as you get up to it, man, it smells nasty. You're quite certain she's probably, defecated in there and goodness knows what. You're close now, you see bits of bone and skin and hide, and it's nasty. And she falls off of the bell. So as you're facing the bell, she falls to the left, and she manages to get on her talons. So she's not prone.
All right.
She's kind of up and like this with her wings now, just to your left as you're facing the bell.
All right. Can I use my other axe to attack then?
Do you get 2 attacks with the axes? 1 and 1?
Well,
like 2
I
weapon
have,
fighting style?
Yeah, I have 2 weapon fighting. So.
Okay.
Are the axes light?
Yeah, I think so. They're just
hand axes. Yeah. Okay, take a swing.
Another dirty 20.
Man, y'all are killing it.
Nice.
That's a good hit. Roll me some damage.
All right, and I still have the hunter's mark on her, so this is gonna be good.
Yes.
Let's see. It's 1d. Oh, so gonna be 9 damage.
Okay. Very good. Nice hit. So you take a swipe at her and kind of slice across one of her thighs as she's all up and exposed and kind of flapping to, get her balance as you knock it off the bell. And she squeals again in pain as you've opened up a gash across her thigh. The arrow still embedded in one of her wings. That should conclude your turn. Very good. Let's go to Harlow. You're at your face is at floor level. You're clutching the rope. You just saw Flint run up and bang the bell with all of her might, knocking this creature to its feet.
Okay. I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Hexblade's Curse.
Okay.
Which basically means that I gain 2 bonus damage to my rolls and critical hit 19 and 20 and 6 HP if it dies. And then I am going... Oh, wait.
I'm going to treat this like half your movement to get off the rope and into the room. So you would have about 15 left. When you are outside of that hole, you're a good 20 feet, 25 feet from where the harpy is.
I'm going to say one thing here. The Hexblade's Curse looks like it's a concentration, but it doesn't say anything that it is. Just because I'm going to do a concentration spell now. I'm going to cast Switch Bolt.
Okay.
And that is a...
I love that spell.
$14.
14. Okay, you hit. Hit me with some damage.
Oh! 12 and a 4, 16.
Oh, nice. Okay, so describe your witch bolt.
18, actually, because 2 more damage from my Hexblade.
Yep.
Yeah.
So describe for me what happens. What does this look like as you come up through the hole, get to your feet, cast some spells? What happens?
It's going to be... It'll see me, like, my head just comes across, my arm slaps up on the wood. I'm just like... And it's just this blue ball of crackling energy that just hits her right in the midsection.
Yeah, nice. So you can tell that you guys have inflicted some damage on this creature, and she's howling and cursing, and her wings are flapping, and she's looking around the room like she might be thinking about getting the hell out of here. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
Actually, I did this wrong. My damage is 2d12, but when I actually read it, it says 1d12.
Okay.
And then after. So I can either roll my damage or you can take either the 12 or half it or whatever. It doesn't really
Just
matter.
go ahead and roll d12 and then add the 2.
Okay.
That way we get it right. She's still not
10.
Okay. Does that include the 2?
Yes.
Okay. Still not feeling great. Yeah. Okay. So same effect, same again. She's squawking and spitting and cursing.
Who are you foul creatures in my lair, killing my people?
And she's all feathers are every which way. The cape is swirling around her. We are down to Pavel.
I hear her say that. Oh wait, wisdom save, right?
Yes, please make a wisdom save.
Please make it good.
2.
Damn.
But watch this. Watch this. I hear her say this, and I'm watching her get hurt. My love! I run forward and then I just bear hug her. A loving embrace, but strong loving embrace.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. So you go and you hug this creature and she smells, I'll
never let go.
Her skin's nasty. And is that the extent of your action this round?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So as you do this, she wraps, right? You guys see her almost embrace him back. And then she looks and she gets this nasty look in her eye and this smirk on her face. And you see her bare her talons. And she rends across Pavel's back with the talons. Ooh, that's a nat 20, baby. Woo.
Oh shit!
Rest in peace, Pavel.
I was trying to be helpful despite my condition, and I think I may have fucked myself over.
And does 15 hit you?
15 does not hit me, actually.
Okay.
All right.
Wow. Man, I just crushed that roll. How about 16 points of rending as she just breaks her
16 points of damage?
Yeah. Across your back.
Okay, I'm not down, but...
You're bummed out.
I'm not feeling good either. Please
That's
kill her.
it, lovely.
And she could just see her reveling in the pain as you scream out, and as you see him just spray blood as her talons dig in and tear through him as he hugs this vial. And you could just see she's in ecstasy. She is loving this. This is exactly... And it's weird because it looked like she was getting ready to bolt. And when he came in and hugged her, man, she just went to town, mission accomplished. And we're back to... I have 3. Everybody roll me a perception.
19.
17.
Don't bother.
Yeah. It would have been a 10 anyway.
Harlow?
Oh, a whole 4.
Okay, so Lethyrus and Flint, you notice there are 3 winged kobolds up top, one of which has a rock. The other 2 are brandishing daggers. So coming at Flint with a rock. What's your AC?
Oh, what is my AC? 16.
Okay. Miss Lethyrus, and I'm rolling at disadvantage because you're moving and they're clutching heavy rocks. Miss Lethyrus. These are actually dagger throws. And then the last one at Harlow. Oh, God, terrible rolls. So another rock drops near Harlow and actually hits the eastern hole and goes through. So 2 daggers skittle to the floor and miss you completely in a rock. And they're up there kind of flapping around in the ceiling. And we are back to Lethyrus.
Okay. I'm finishing coming up through the hole.
Yep, that'll be half your movement.
All right.
And as big as you are, I'm going to have that be all your movement. At 7'2", man, it's a pain in the ass to get that and those horns
All right.
up through the hole. So you can basically come up and take your action and bonus action.
Okay. So I can't go anywhere. guess I'll toss a javelin because I
Okay.
can't do a bonus action.
The creature is basically 35 feet straight across from you, along the northern wall near this bell. Flint is there.
Okay.
Pavel is actually in her arms.
Maybe I don't want to do that then. I forgot about Pavel for a second. On second thought, I'm going to delay my turn because there's nothing I can do that won't hurt Pavel in the process, I think.
Sure. Okay. That brings me to Flint.
All right. I'm going to try and sweep around behind her and just bury both of my axes into her shoulder blades.
Okay. Make your attacks.
All right. Let's see. That is 12 for one.
Okay. That axe finds purchase. You feel it rend through feathers and into her shoulder and hit bone.
All right. And damage
She
for
howls,
that
spits
is...
at you.
Damage for that is 10.
Okay. Big gash. She's, clearly maimed on that side. That's the side where the arrow was. Make your second attack.
All right. That's going to be 22.
That's definitely a hit.
And then... max damage. That's going to be, 14. No, 15.
Describe for me how you dispatch this vile creature as she's shrieking and spitting as you bury your axe. Tell me how this goes.
I'm basically just going to screech at her in the most foul voice I can muster to try and mimic her and just take my axe and chop off her one arm so Pavel can just sort of fall out.
Okay.
And then with the other axe, I'm just going to bring it around and just slit her throat so she can't sing anymore.
Okay. So you see Flint just wade in and take down a wing and then run an axe, just gash across her throat, and her head goes back and blood just blows all over the place down the front of her, and she just slumps back against the wall, one wing off, kind of twitching. And the three kobolds in the ceiling shriek in disbelief, and their eyes are and they exit. They are gone. And Pavel, you fall to the floor, and all you know is you feel quite differently, and you're not sure what exactly is going on, but you're yourself again.
I look around. What?
Welcome back, idiot.
What? What happened?
You fucking knocked my bow out of my hand is what you did, you dingus.
What? Why would I do that?
So, do you remember any, magic singy sounds playing in your head?
I thought I heard something singing, but I don't. How did I get up here?
I'm gonna grab part of the harpy and just lift it up and show it to him. It's this fucked with your head. Congratulations.
Are we out of combat right now?
Feels like it fucked with my back.
I'm gonna I'm just gonna smack him across the face, leave my palm there, and cast Cure Wounds.
Nice.
Let's see.
Yeah, you apparently gave her a hug, and then she liked it a bit too much.
You get 8 points of health back.
I hugged it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I look down. I think there's probably a couple feathers stuck to my armor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm gonna go get my bow back. Make sure it's not broken or chipped or anything. My poor baby.
Yeah, I really just threw that thing.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're in this upper level. The roof is collapsed, gaping holes. That's how those three kobolds escaped. Again, the sun is setting, so it's getting darker. Twilight. The large metal bell is, again, upside down up against the wall where she was perched. It looks that maybe it was her nest. And there's debris. There's just stuff piled around, bones, hide. Looks like, she eats in place and leaves the scraps, the bones and stuff. You can see bits of armor. You can see just general rubble, cloth, sticks, shit like that all around the bell.
I'd like to go rummaging in the bell.
Okay.
So I'm a rummaging.
Okay.
I fear no stink. I'm a farm boy.
Oh, right. Okay. So in the bell, again, there's just general debris, nesting material, some, dried mud, looks to be pieces of bone and the smell of rotten flesh and scat from this creature, all in there, kind of her nest. A couple of red scales from the cloak that's on her back. Nothing else really in the bell, but a lot of debris and crap around it. It's kind of nested in that debris, the bell is. That's how it's remaining upright.
Okay, so I come out of the bell, twigs and general dirt all about in my hair. There's nothing in the bell. What's that cloak she has on?
Besides the cloak, is there anything else on this harpy?
The mask, the cloak, and then just all the debris and rubble around the bell.
Right.
And then just scattered, just random stuff scattered around the room. Yeah, other than that, the room is pretty bare.
I think this is how she was able to fry us. Anybody want this? I don't trust fire too much.
I wouldn't say no to it. But
here,
I'm sure
I'm gonna give it to Harlow.
That's fire. Probably wouldn't fit me anyway.
Okay. So what are we giving to Harlow? The mask or the cloak?
Yes,
both.
Mask and the cloak. Okay. So it appears to be reddish, ruddy, rust-colored scales. And again, the mask looks like kind of the upper half of a lizard's head. Some kind of lizard reptilian, again, kind of horns, small little ears. So now you have this mask and you have the cape. What else would you all like to do?
It's getting close tonight. We should probably rest somewhere a little less lofty.
I can agree with that. I'm a little hungry, a little peckish.
Yeah, I guess we would head to the first floor and make camp for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else you want to look around in the room before you go?
I guess I'll do a general perception check.
Okay.
Which is a dirty 20.
Okay. You notice in the rubble around the bell a couple of little shiny glints.
Ooh, shiny glints.
Between, mud and stuff, sticks and twigs and grass and things like that.
Okay. I'll grab those.
Okay. It looks like there are some sacks, and a couple of them are torn, and they're showing that glinty shininess is copper, silver, electrum, gold, and just a wee bit of platinum amidst the sacks. If you look through the stuff, there's several little gems in there. Are you familiar with tiger eyes?
I am.
There's 7 of those. Flint, again, being kind of the earth and rock stone person, you'd say they have some minor value each. There's 7 of them. There are 3 bloodstones, so just blood red. And these are all uncut, not polished or anything. They're probably, from what you know, probably worth a good bit more than the tiger eyes. And then there's this really cool, have you ever seen a piece of amber? right? And it has an oak leaf in it. And that's pretty cool. And you'd guess that would probably fetch a pretty fair price, at a market. There's a bent silver tiara, and it's soft enough you can tell that is definitely pure silver, probably worth some money. And there's a beautiful potion flask made of a silvery metal, and it has this beautiful blue crystalline, it's azurite, so it looks kind of like the copper sulfide, very deep blue translucent crystalline stopper in it, and it feels rather heavy, like there's probably something in there, some kind of liquid. And in the bottom of the sack is a tiny little figurine, soot covered, and it's made of silver, and it's in the shape of a raven.
Ooh.
So somebody make sure you're recording your haul here.
So I have all the trinkets. I did not have the exact amount of money if you mentioned that.
Yeah.
What's the exact information on that cloak and mask? Sorry.
They look to be made of red lizard-like scales, and from what you could tell, if you had to guess, you would assume that the fire probably emanated somehow with those items.
Okay, I will sit with them for a while.
Okay. Very good. As far as cash goes, a pretty healthy pile of copper there. You'd guess, quickly stacking and counting, maybe about 540. About 340 silver, 21 electrum, 125 gold, and 4 platinum. So not a bad haul.
Not
7
bad.
tiger eyes. You'd guess maybe about 10 gold pieces. The bloodstones, those nice, beautiful red bloodstones. You'd guess maybe upwards of 40 or 50 gold pieces each on those. The amber, probably a couple hundred, 200 to 300 gold. Just a bent silver tiara, probably 100 or more gold. And then the potion flask, the stopper, you'd think is probably worth a little bit of gold, probably somewhere between the tiger eye and the bloodstone, maybe 25, 30 gold. And then the little silver raven figurine kind of covered in soot and mud, if you kind of clean it up a little bit.
Are we all able to see that? The figurine?
Yeah, I assume Lethyrus is showing everybody what you're finding as you're going through the sacks.
Oh, sure. So it was 540 copper, 340 silver, 21 electrum.
Yeah.
125 gold and 4 platinum.
Yep.
All
so
right.
She's collected a king's ransom.
Guys, I found so much cool stuff.
Lethyrus, can I see that little raven, if that's all right with you?
Sure. He hands it over.
I'm cleaning it off as well as I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
you
I'm
can,
just-
once you get the mud and stuff, it's a beautifully crafted silver likeness of a very small raven. Nicely detailed. Not sure if it was cast or somehow other formed by some other means, perhaps magical, you're not sure. Unless you have such ability to detect these things.
I don't. I'm gonna grab the cloak and the mask and just hand it to Pavel. I'm going to keep the raven statue, even if it's not magical. I'm keeping it.
Oh. Okay.
Let's see. I want to keep the amber. That's for my own purposes. Do any of y'all want any of these little things? I don't particularly care about money, but I could keep the copper for my mom's.
No, you hold on to that cash.
Yeah, you can hold it all. We'll split it up when things are done.
Okay, sure.
Mhm.
You don't want any of these little trinkets I found?
Nah, I'm good.
Not
Okay.
right now.
Alright, then I'm also going to look inside the flask, because you said something might be in there.
Sure.
I'm just gonna, without any caution, just take a big old whiff, just unstop it, take a big sniff.
Okay. There's some kind of a potion in there or something, some liquid. Give me a sec here. It's kind of a pinkish, reddish, glittery, scintillating, definitely not organic looking viscous liquid in there. It doesn't really have just a slight faint sweetness.
Cautiously takes a little sip.
Okay. You definitely feel the warmth of virility, health, refreshment just kind of pass over you, but you don't feel like there's any change to you.
Alright. Just restop that and pocket that for later.
Nothing harmful appears to have occurred.
Potion seems alright then.
Okay.
Going
So you guys are
for
up
the
in
theories.
the upper level. It's getting dark. You said you wanted to descend.
Yes.
Back down? Okay. So you carefully descend for the purposes of narrative, as much rope climbing as you've done in the day. Let's just have you navigate down there. You're going to go back to ground level?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, the size of this area here is it's about 40 feet diameter. There's a ladder. You actually get to climb down a ladder into the ground level. There's the front door that goes down the steps. You could easily close and lock that. There's a hearth in the northern wall that has looks like maybe a chimney might go out, so you could easily make a fire if you wanted to. There's a couple of tables. No real chairs. The tables look kind of rickety.
I'm gonna take some of the broken table that I had shattered earlier, throw it into the fireplace, and click my fingers and cast prestidigitation in the firelights. And I'm just gonna go sort of sit against the wall, contemplatively.
Oh. After that, I think I'm gonna just excuse myself and go outside for a little while to get some fresh air.
I'm gonna find a corner with my stuff and just kind of curl up, and I'm still clutching that raven statue.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit by the fire and start cooking up some of those rats I took earlier.
Nice.
I've sort of got that dragon cloak and mask draped across my lap.
Okay. I think what I want to do right here, I think this is a good time for a quick break. What do you say? You want to take 10?
Sure.
Sure.
All right. Let's take 10 as we get into the evening. The party is at rest in the ground floor of this tower. We'll come back in 10 minutes and see what happens next.
Hey everyone, Steven from Castle Mac here. Wanted to take a moment to play this video over the break so that we wouldn't eat up time when we come back, so that we can get right back into the role-playing that we think you're here for. Wanted to sincerely thank you for being here. It truly means the world for us, really, you guys. we're overwhelmed by the support that we receive from you all, so truly thank you. Let's get some administrative stuff out of the way. As you may or may not know, you can find us on YouTube. There's a link right down below the video. We've got all kinds of links down there. Or you can find us at youtube.com/c/CastleMac, or searching for Castle Mac will pull it up. I do my best to get all the videos up within 24 hours of their live stream, so there shouldn't be much of a delay. Usually I'm faster than that, sometimes just a little bit behind, but every back episode is there, so you can go check them out. Finally, you can find us all on Twitter. That's pretty much where we mostly hang out in the social media world. All of our Twitter handles are visible within the player tags, although we're pretty easy to find. Just do the @CastleMac and it'll fill out with the 6 of us. So give everybody a follow and let's talk D&D. It's pretty much all we want to do all the time. Another link down below you'll see is our Bandcamp. All of our music is completely original. This is done by Castle Mac Andrew, and he's done just a phenomenal job. You can go listen to those tracks individually at our Bandcamp link. You can also purchase the album if you'd like to show him some support. He's got more stuff in the pipe, and it's going to be just fantastic. Finally, we do have a podcast. Speaking of audio, you can find us on iTunes under Castle Mac and other places that good podcasts are found. We're a little bit behind right now, but we're going to be caught up and have all the episodes for your audio pleasure. Finally, our Discord. The link is down below again. This has probably been the biggest hit with us. We love it so much. Lots of people come and hang out. We've made tons of good friends, lots of new friendships forged there. It's just fantastic. It's a really good community. So we invite all of you to come join us and have a good time. A lot of times after shows, we will hang out in the Discord voice chat, so you guys can come and we can all just kind of hang out a little bit. It's a lot of fun. Finally, let's talk about Divine Inspiration. As you've probably seen by now, every 500 bits or subscription equivalent earns our players a Divine reroll. We think this is a really fun way of letting the viewers sort of act like they're the gods of the realm. They can subtly guide the actions of the players, whether it's, guiding an arrow or moving a shield over just a hair. So we really appreciate that. That is the immediate tangible benefit, but do want to talk about, what we do with those bits. We reinvest absolutely every dime we make into the stream, and you can look back at some of our older YouTube videos and see in a very short time we've come a long way. We really use that to pay for art. We've done tons of artist commissions, from overlays to character artwork, and we will continue to do so. We think artists make this community incredibly vibrant and bring visuals to life. I don't think any of this works without some of the wonderful art that people have done, and also equipment. As you probably know by now, if you spend any time with us, we have been making huge improvements to our audio, and that is really our number one focus right now. So we are saving up for a comprehensive audio equipment overhaul. Both Andrew and I have some background in recording, and we are really hoping to make that leaps and bounds better than what it is right now. We're really making do. It's challenging to mic a room full of people with broad dynamics, from whispers to shouts when people roll 20s. So we are being very thoughtful, and we're really focused on making that as absolutely amazing as we possibly can. And so you all are helping us with that. Every time you donate even a single bit, we really, truly appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to the break. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Thank you again for being here. It honestly means the world to us. So we'll see you soon.
people. Break is over. Our party has just defeated a nasty, nasty creature known as a harpy. And that's kind of cool because it's in the module. I didn't plant that in there. I might have beefed it up a little bit just because, it's what you do. And so
Is there monsters?
our group finds themselves on the ground floor of what apparently is some kind of a watchtower associated with Cascaton, the home of Rogan and Zelagar. And it is evening time. Let's see, we've got Flint having gone outside to get some fresh air. And if you remember, there is kind of that maze of bramble out in front. Seems to have been stacked that way. They're not really growing that way. Looks like there's heavy brush and stuff that was kind of stacked to form a little bit of a maze. Probably a way to provide some defense to slow down anyone approaching the tower to, maybe use the arrow slits above to fire down. Again, you're out there catching some fresh air in the cool, well, not cold, but cool midsummer evening. Pavel, you're sitting inside the room, right? And you have the cloak and the mask on your lap. Lathyrus, you said you're cooking rats?
Yep.
And Harlow, you're just sitting there kind of turning over your little silver raven. Give me a perception check, if you would, please.
My sheet. I think it's a 19, but I got to double check. 18. Sorry.
Okay. So as you're turning this little, it's small enough to fit in your pocket, but it's big enough that there's some detail you can tell. Beyond the fact it's a bird, you're quite sure it's a raven by the detail. And you notice what looks to be maybe some etching or some carving along the back. Kind of, how when a bird folds its wings, they kind of come together in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of right between that, very faint etching. Maybe some letters or runes or characters of some sort.
Do I recognize them?
Oh, yeah. It's actually a word in common. And the word is nevermore. One word.
Can I say it out loud?
You can
Nevermore?
do whatever you want.
See if anything happens.
So you're going to say the word nevermore? Okay. As you do this...
You put a little bit of something behind it.
Like say it a certain way, or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nevermore.
Okay. So as you do this, it kind of swirls with this little energy light, and it transforms almost immediately into a large actual raven, so much so that you kind of feel like you have to kind of let it go because you're kind of startled. And so Pavel and Lathyrus, you notice Harlow, kind of looking at this figure, and you hear her say something, and all of a sudden there's a big live raven in the room, and she just kind of drops it to the ground.
I knew it from the minute I saw it. I knew it was going to be something like that. I'm so happy.
I just have a skewered rat halfway to my mouth.
I put my arm out for the raven, or just put my hand gently towards it.
Yeah. It seems quite comfortable with you. It approaches and kind of looks at your arm and hops up on there. I mean, it's a big bird, so you're like, holy shnikes, this is a heavy.
Hold as best I can, just kind of scritch its feathers.
Yeah. Yep. So apparently you have a raven on your arm now.
Nice.
I don't know what to do, but hi.
What?
Forget the rats. Let's head over to the raven.
That came from the statue? Can you change it back?
I'll say the word nevermore again quietly. I don't want them to really hear what the word is. Doesn't go away?
Yeah, you dispatch it back to statue form.
Huh.
Yes!
That's a pretty cool trick.
As you spoke to it, kind of spoke out loud, it cocked its head and kind of looked at you like it was, understanding what you were saying around it.
Okay.
So you could tell there was some sort of communication taking place before you dispatched it. And so you hold the little silver figurine in your hand.
All right, I'm going to call it back. And I'm going to... If it's still... I'm going to put the raven in front of me anyways. I'm just going to stare at it and study it because we're such a big raven and all that stuff.
Yeah, when you try to call it back, nothing happens.
Oop. Okay. Okay. Oh well.
Would I know that sometimes magic items can only be used a certain amount of times per day with my study of the arcane?
Give me an Arcana check.
Cool. Okay. All right. Reasonable. 18.
Okay. Your hunch is that, it probably has to be still for a period of time before it could be reactivated. That would be your guess.
I'll tell her as such. Try it again tomorrow, maybe.
Harlow looks really disappointed, but it's okay.
So
tuck it away.
Heard the raven came from the statue?
That's what it seems like.
Apparently, yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Well, that's neat.
I'm gonna stick my head back in for a minute and be like, Lethyrus, could you join me outside for a moment?
My mom. Oh, certainly. I'm gonna walk over to Flint and go outside.
So, Lethyrus, would you consider yourself an impartial third party?
I suppose it depends, but overall, yes.
What are your feelings towards me? What do you think of me?
I like you.
Okay, I suppose that's better than the rest of the group right now. I'm fairly certain everyone hates me.
Because of the acid thing you did?
It's a lot of things, actually.
I see.
I need to ask something of you, and it's not a small favor, but I feel like being as impartial as you may be, if I should die here in this place, I need you to take the contents of my pouch, the reins and the figure, to an elf in the kingdom of Nairon, the west of the Gamboge forest. His name is Tennille Laurel, and he will know where to take these items.
His ears get a little droopy. Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm hoping nothing happens and it doesn't come to that, but I feel like I need to ask someone, and I'm not quite sure how the rest of the group views me right now.
I understand. You never know what's gonna happen. Yeah. If you die, which I personally will try to make sure it doesn't happen, and I'm sure you're gonna try and not die either, I hope. I will give your pouch to this fellow on my way back home, I guess, because I gotta face the music with my mom at some point, but until then, I'm gonna put it off as long as I can.
Thank you. And I head back
problem.
inside.
Okay.
And
You want
march
some rants?
as I go and sit by the fire and check another piece of paper in there. I'm gonna say no. No, thank you. I'm not quite hungry.
Okay, suit yourself. Jenny, y'all want some rats? They're good.
No, I'm quite good, thank you, Lethyrus.
I pull out a piece of jerky. Start eating it.
Emotions.
Pavel, I'm going to say that as you were sitting there with your items, you feel some energy around them, maybe a little arcane energy and some gentle connection forming. But then you kind of break that when you go over and talk with Harlow about her figurine.
Oh, I had just said that stuff across the room. I actually hadn't gotten up.
Okay. Well, then you felt some sort of energy, not dissimilar, like when you what was it you were doing with the leather? When you were scribing the leather,
scribing the arcane symbols. Yeah.
You feel that same. You know how you get that magical dwemer tingle in your writing hand when you're doing. You felt some similar energy, sort of connecting with you just a little bit, coming from the cape and the mask.
I'm gonna take my bear skin cloak, unclasp it, and sort of put it around my waist, and then I'm gonna pop the red scaled cloak on and pop the mask. Does the mask cover the face, or does it just sit and shoot forward?
It covers kind of the top, so you can see through it, but not your mouth.
Okay.
It kind of covers the top of your face.
Okay.
Yeah. After a period of time of just kind of sitting and relaxing that way, you feel like the mask, because when you put it on, it doesn't fit right. You can tell it's just not right. It wasn't made for your head. But if you sit there long enough with it, you can feel it start to find its way around your head like a piece of leather will do over time. Only this is happening much more quickly than, it may take you, several days or weeks to form a piece of stiff leather to fit you. But just in a matter of maybe an hour or two, it feels like that mask is fitting you, like it was made for your head.
Yeah, I'm writing down these observations as it happens too.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So, if you do that long enough, you realize you have a powerful arcane item adorning your head.
Cool. I start to try out a couple. I'm gonna walk outside for a little bit, and then try to test its capabilities, basically.
Okay. So what are you gonna do to test? So you guys see Pavel kind of get up. He's now wearing the cape, which looks kind of odd on him. He's kind of always been a bowman, a woodsman, with this fur cloak. And now he's got this kind of goofy looking scaled cape on and this mask, and it almost seems kind of, whoa, dude. And he goes outside.
I'm gonna I don't know, I'm gonna concentrate on the mask and sort of I don't know how you would test something like this. But I guess it'll be like the awful Sam Raimi Spider-Mans where he was trying the various things out to shoot the web. I'm trying different arcane words and symbols and like just general like actions and stuff. Chronicling them as I go. Fail, fail, fail.
So you feel like you've gained some ability or you've acquired some properties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm going to send you to look up a thing called a red dragon mask. Because as you're attuned to this and you're wearing this, you know now that this is of some red dragon origin. You know, now
Yep.
that the head makes sense and the shape and the fire that you saw from the harpy. So go chase that down and look that up. I presume you can find it. If you need, I can copy and paste. And
No, I got it.
okay,
I have all the things.
all the things. It's from the Rise of Tiamat
Right, I can get you
online
now.
supplement.
Yep. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. The recharge is 6.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to roll a d6 and get a 6 after the rest for it to recharge. So it's not an automatic,
No, yeah.
right? But a lot of cool stuff there. Yeah. And based on that cloak or cape, you would say that it probably would help you defensively. Like it feels very like tough to penetrate.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, properties wise on that would give you an AC 13. It's not a +2 or, you know, raise your armor class, but it would, you know, if that's all you had on, you'd be an armor class 13.
Okay.
I don't know if
Cool.
that probably improves your armor any. But.
No, not at the moment.
Okay. What are the three of you doing in the tower? It's evening time, definitely meal time or later.
Well, Aetherius has already eaten. I suppose by this point the rats are gone. I would have taken off my armor, and I'm going to sharpen Sunder.
Very good. How about you, Flint?
I'm just gonna be writing in my notebook. Maybe occasionally going back to the etiquette book if Lothiris will let me borrow it again.
Oh, yeah, I gave it back to you like, last session.
Right.
All right, and Harlow.
It looks like I don't actually just get a breath weapon.
There's several properties to it.
No, I'm reading it. It says if I have a breath weapon that requires rest to recharge, instead
I see.
I roll 6, and I would get the reset if I rolled a 6.
Right.
It's fine. I might be able to get one later. Who knows? It's D&D. Anything can happen. But there's still some very useful things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think you have dark vision now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do. I have 60 feet of dark vision. And I can gain blind sight out to a range of 30 feet once per day for 5 minutes.
Ooh.
And I get a legendary resistance.
That's kind of nice. Yeah, you could have used that today.
Yeah, right? This is an exceptionally powerful item.
And it was in the module. Very cool. Okay. So this would qualify you guys and gals for a long rest.
Cool.
Because it's nighttime. If you want to do all that, like I said, you can lock the front door.
Yeah.
You do know that the tower is able to be entered from the roof, and there are winged kobolds about, but beyond that, you're probably not too concerned.
I guess we'd probably take turns keeping watch anyway.
Yep, I'll take second watch.
Okay. So your evening is going to pass uneventfully. And so if you want to make any adjustments based on your long rest, whoever has last watch realizes it's morning because there is natural light playing into the room from the holes in the ceiling. And it is becoming morning time.
I think I'll have had last watch.
Okay.
I'll go around and wake everyone up gently.
The only light you're getting is from above. There are no windows. It's really filtering down from the big holes in the roof.
I'll go and open the door as well. A little bit of light in that way as well.
Okay. Another beautiful day in the Flinty Hills. You know, the bramble maze plays out before, and you can tell it kind of drops off after several hundred yards. Like you might be up on a bit of a plateau or a ledge. And you can see the patchy, scrubby junipers and cedars and the Flinty Hills around you. As you look out the front door.
Up, redon my armor, and just take a general look around. Like, we ready to go?
I suppose so.
I'm gonna take off the cape, sort of understanding that it's not really super helpful to me at the moment. Do any of you not wear armor? Or do you all wear armor?
I have armor.
I have definite armor.
So you can...
Yeah, I'll sort of explain that this can protect you, but not dramatically. So whoever wants it can have it.
Well, how does it protect us exactly?
It makes your AC 13. I mean, it's made of very tough scales. Very faintly magical aura, maybe. It was hard to tell.
Well, I don't really need it, but I could hold on to it if you don't want it.
Yeah, I'll let him hold on to it.
Okay, I'll just put it in my backpack.
And I'll take my bear cloak and pop it back on. Which I'm sure is an interesting combo of dragon face, bear fur.
Ah, yeah.
Nice. Harlow's got the robot thing going on.
Yeah. Been wondering what that is.
Failed again? Damn it.
No.
Back?
Yeah, you're good.
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
So, I guess the question this morning is, do we take a bit of time to go down that bramble path? Because if I remember correctly, it was pretty straight. Not straight in that, like, I remember it was very curvy, but it seemed to be one continuous path.
You said the walls of that were only about 10 feet high?
Right. And,
Yeah,
you know, from
remember,
looking at it...
I had climbed on top of Lethyrus and actually, stepped up on top of one of the walls. And that's when we got attacked by the winged kobolds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's a series of stacked pieces of, you know, dead wood and heavy bramble, briar brush, thorn bush. You know, it's meant to impede progress from the front toward the tower. And it's probably about a couple hundred yards deep. And you went into it, you know, a 20, 30 feet, and it, you know, it would kind of twist and turn. but generally proceeded directly away from the tower.
When I had hopped up on top of it, I couldn't see where it went. Like I didn't see
it looked like you're on a ledge. Like, you could see the edge of it and it dropped off, and you can see hills around, but this is kind of a plateau area between a few hills, but you can tell beyond it, it looks like there's, the landscape goes down, and then you can see some hills and trees that look like they may be a little bit beneath the level you're on.
Should we go to the end of it and then see what's there, or do we go back down into the maze?
Mind a little bit of fresh air for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm in no hurry to go back in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been in there for like a day, but I'm already sick of it.
Fair enough. I sort of, adjust the mask on my face and start walking out.
Okay. You have a marching order for your little trek into the bramble maze.
I'll go first.
The general theme of Lethyrus taking up the rear, so I guess I'll take up the rear.
I'll go second. Go with the ready.
I'm third, I guess.
Okay. And so as you progress, you're careful. It's, 10 or so feet wide, but you want to take care not to catch your gear or your garb against, on those walls, because there's thorns and picks and sticks and branches, and you could see yourself getting kind of hung up, and so you want to, you feel like you want to kind of stay to the middle of the path, and so you head, straight about 10-20 feet, and then it turns hard left, 10 or 20 feet, then it turns right, and you're going back toward the south again, and after a while it turns right, but you notice there's no side entry passages. It's just this one way, and it's just kind of winding its way like a singular path maze almost as you wind your way through the brambles. And you can hear, some birds singing, and it's quiet. You smell that piney acidic smell of hemlock and cedar and juniper. It's a beautiful warmish summer morning as you wind your way through this bramble, kind of a maze, but it's weird, like, especially Minotaur Boy, you've been told tales of mazes that legendary minotaurs would use to trap their enemies and render them confused and lost, and this feels like a maze, but it's not confusing because there's only one way to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it takes you a good 15 minutes or so to navigate, and it's hard to tell really how far in a straight line you've gone from the front of the tower, but eventually you come to almost the edge of a little bit of a, I don't want to say cliff or precipice. You're only about 30 feet above, looking down at kind of the hilly contours and the trees, but it goes back down into kind of the flinty hills setting that reminds you of when you came up here. And it looks like if you go down there, you're going to be back in the flinty hills, coming down off of a big plateau, if you will, a tabletop, where this tower was. And looking back, already it's hard to see the whole. You can only make out like the top third of the tower from the far end of this, where you're located now. If you were to descend, it's stony, rocky. There's no real path to get down, so it'll take a little bit of navigation, but you all should be able to make it down to the floor of the area below.
Do we really need to go down there?
I don't know. Harlow, that That new bird friend of yours. Do you think it could... I mean, it's clearly magical. Do you think it could convey information at all?
Oh. Say the magic word. And, can anybody hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just now.
So you say the magic word again?
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
Felt
Aw.
disappointed. Okay.
I checked the back and saved the word as the same.
Yes. Yeah. Nothing's changed about the figurine.
It can take more time. Magic can be weird like that.
Why is she talking to a bird statue?
Oh, it turns into a raven sometimes. I don't know why. I don't really ask.
Oh, I guess I missed
Yeah,
that.
I'm really excited. Just like, yeah, you were outside for a while. It's really cool. I wish you had seen it, but hopefully it'll work later. I don't know. Hopefully. Damn it.
Well, I guess it's go down or head back in.
And go down.
Yeah.
Go back down. Well, going down this way would be a little new. So,
But we need to think about old Bill as well. We left him at the bottom of that spiral staircase. Remember?
the question, well,
Yeah.
we gotta ask if old Bill's still alive.
Well, he's got all our stuff that we didn't.
I-
take with.
I grabbed a pack of stuff, so.
We have some, but not everything. We still have. We took our essential rations, but
Yeah, he had all the rest of our food and quite a bit of other gear.
Yeah, I guess we should go back for old Bill.
yeah.
I mean, if need be, I could carry all y'all's stuff. Be your pack bowl.
True, but we're kind of fond of.
Well, alright, up to you.
How about one of us? We've got quite a bit of rope. One of us can go down and take a look. If nothing seems immediately apparent, we'll come right back up.
All right, I'll go.
It's not super steep or anything.
Okay.
You just don't want to just go running down there because you're not sure how loose the stone is on the hillside.
Yeah, but the rope will help.
Flint,
Yeah.
I'm not sure you should be the one to go. I know
And
you're
why?
capable, but you've been really reckless lately, and I don't want to see anything happen to you. I don't.
I'm going for a walk. It'll be fine.
There's no pool of healing potion to toss you in case something happens, and I'm worried.
You don't need to walk on eggshells just because I made one foolish mistake.
I'm not walking on eggshells. I'm concerned. I'm allowed to be. Concerned. I would like it if you continued to exist. Gotten rather fond of you, I guess, or something. I don't know. If you want to go, go.
I assure you I'll be fine.
Just Arlo will step back and let you do what you want, but she's going to continue looking very skeptical.
Alright, I'm gonna tie the rope off around my waist just so that everyone knows I'm still attached to the rope. And I'm gonna head down.
Do you hand that rope to anybody?
I figured someone else grabbed the other end.
Yeah,
grab
I'm gonna check the knot and sort of like lean in and whisper, if you kill yourself, I'm gonna come down there and kill you first. Keep that in mind. And I like stand back with the rope.
Does everyone think I have a death wish?
I don't.
Thank you, Letherus.
You're welcome.
Well, let's see. Yeah, no.
I'm just sort of standing there with the rope, very sort of stone faced.
Okay, so you have the rope, Pablo.
All right, I'm heading down because y'all are annoying, and I'm gonna get away.
Very good. So you carefully navigate down. There's some loose rock, and you slip here and there, but it's easy enough. It's not a sheer cliff face. It's at an angle. You just got to take your time. The main hazard is just slipping rock. There's, it's shale, so there's some jagged, rock and big pieces and chunks. But you manage to get down to the bottom, and there's a kind of an overgrown. As you get down into the trees and the hills, again, you recall your way up here. This is, the type of country you traveled through, to get up to the entrance of the queue. And as you get down to the bottom of the hill, you notice in the trees and so forth, there's a small flagstone path, overgrown, kind of moving off to the east, kind of along the bottom of the where the plateau kind of levels off, and then it kind of goes down into the hills and into the trees.
What am I gonna do? So it's just leading away from the queue, basically.
Away from the tower. Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna go back up.
Okay. No problem getting back up. Just got to take your time.
There seems to be a path leading off into the woods down there. It leads away from the tower, but I don't know if that means it leads away from the queue.
Is it the same kind of like brambled path as what we're currently standing in?
No, it's like a... How'd you describe a flagstone path?
Yeah, kind of flagstone, a little overgrown. It doesn't look like a high traffic thing, but it looks like it's there on purpose, like pieces and chunks of stone are still there that mark the path off into the woods. You have to, look closely. It'd be easy to wander off of it if you're not paying attention.
Maybe it was the original entrance.
People don't make a path for no reason. It might be worth a check.
Well, then let's go, I guess. You can hold on to my leash if you'd like.
I hand the rope to you.
Thank you.
So you guys heading down, going back up? What do you think?
Yeah, we're going down.
Heading down.
Okay. You could tell, Flint, from your descent and ascent, the rope is probably not necessary if you're careful.
Alrighty.
So you guys heading down to the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, so you guys make your way down there. Again, there's some stone sliding and all that. A couple of skin knees kind of thing, just going down, being very careful. A couple people that are closer to the bottom are annoyed at the people that are at the top for kicking stones down. Nothing major. It's just kind of loose rock that doesn't have any vegetation. And with wind and weather, it's the dirt's washed away and it's a little tricky, but you can navigate it easily enough with no issues. And so y'all are down there on a narrow kind of a flagstone. Some of the flagstone is missing here and there. It's a bit overgrown, and it makes its way down through the sparse trees. Again, the cedars, the junipers, the pines, the occasional I can't think of it now, but trees down in the hills.
All right, I guess let's go. Same marching order, I guess.
Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
So you're cruising along, and again, all of you, you feel like, well, this is definitely familiar country. We're definitely in the kind of country we crossed through, coming up from the forest and the grasslands into the flinty hills. We're definitely in that. We haven't left the area, and you go several hundred yards along this path, and you have to take care not to lose it because it vanishes in places. The flagstones are gone; it's washed away, that sort of thing. But you ultimately find yourselves in kind of a clearing with a stone obelisk. And
Damn it.
the stone obelisk, the path continues on, and I'd like a perception check from Pavel, Harlow, Shannon, and Lethyrus. Yeah, I think all of you Lethyrus should make a perception.
15.
Natural 20.
13.
What was yours, Lethyrus?
13.
Okay. So Lethyrus, you and Pavel and Harlow are pretty sure you've been man, this is definitely familiar. I have definitely been here. Flint, you know for a fact that if you follow that path up there, you're going to come to the entrance of Cascaton.
We need to go back. This is just going to be the entrance again.
Okay.
We've gone in a big goddamn circle. A squiggly circle.
Harlow
Okay.
turns around and walks away.
All right.
All right, back we go.
Okay. So you're going to make your way back up the front of that plateau
Mhm.
to the bramble maze and
Mhm.
make your way back to the tower.
Yep.
Okay. You do so without any incident. Just a nice walk in the woods and the hills and the brambles, and you've burned the morning away exploring around the tower, and it's now midday as you re-enter the ground level.
Well, at least we got some fresh air.
That you did.
All right.
True. Pavel's cloak got aired out a bit.
I am not
That was
wearing
a bit
the
right.
cloak anymore.
You're not
Wearing your
wearing
bear
a
cloak.
Oh, I am wearing the bear cloak. Yeah.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh. Fair.
Yeah, let's
I
go
guess-
find Bill.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the ladder going up, 10-foot high ceiling, and then you have the trap door in the floor with the ladder going down.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna straight back down to good old Bill.
Okay, so you go down through the crawl space, and you come to the metal spiral staircase. A little rickety, but it got the Minotaur up. It'll probably get the Minotaur down. Lethyrus, if you recall, you've got to be sort of careful you don't get yourself wedged with the spread of your horns and everything going down this spiral staircase. And you descend 15, 20 feet down into that area where, if you recall, it was kind of a series of hallways that kind of made around this rectangular labyrinth to the center where that spiral staircase was. There are still a carcass or two of deceased kobolds. If you recall, you had quite a fierce battle down in here. And you are back in that area. It's it is a 20 by 20 square room with a hallway leading out toward the south on the south wall, west corner.
Is old Bill there?
You see some remnants of his presence. You can say that either way you'd like to say presence, as in presence with a T, like he left you some presents, or the fact that his presence was there earlier with a
I thought we
CE.
tied him up.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was pretty sure we had said
Okay.
that.
Well, if you
He
tied
had a
him up,
long
then
reign, but I think we tied him up.
he's there.
Cool.
So I was going to have him wander off on you, but since you are certain you've tied him up. So yeah, old Bill's there looking no worse for the wear. There's a little, he's left a few presents. But he's there hanging out with his packs, his loaded, You've
You
only
said
been
this
gone a
was-
day.
You said this was a 20 by 20 room, right?
20 by 20 passageways, again, the worked stone, 10 feet wide. And that, if you light a torch per usual, that passageway goes about 20 feet out of the room and turns left. And it starts in on that expanding, rectangular. You can easily find your way through this if you wish to proceed all the way back out to a hallway. You're in a 10-foot by 10-foot hallway. You've just come about 60 feet. You have a turn to the left, and it's a 10-foot wide passage, and it goes on beyond your torchlight. It can go straight about 30 feet and turns left, or there's a door right on your right, and there are more kobold carcasses. You remember this is that hallway where Lethyrus gored a couple of the kobolds, had one hanging off his horn. This is that hallway where you stood toe-to-toe with that group of kobolds and did battle.
This was a twisty area, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think this was just before the twisty area.
This was as it entered into the twisty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have my map anymore. I don't know where it went. It
Oh,
wasn't
no.
a particularly good map, but
Well, this is a tricky little dwelling that they've constructed, not designed to be easily navigated.
Okay,
Apparently.
well,
Does the door on the right have one of our patented checks on it?
You have been through this door. Yes, it does.
yes, because I believe through there was the mushroom room.
Oh yeah, the mushroom.
Means we're gonna have to bolt again, aren't we?
We don't have to go through there.
Mm.
It wasn't where we came from. We walked into there and then we heard the kobolds.
Oh,
well,
okay.
the question is,
It backed up.
did we come from the left? Or did we come from the right? Well, actually, the right is the mushroom room. So did we come from the left?
So your choices are straight, turn left, or go through the door on your right.
Oh wait. No, we had only gone through. We had come from straight, I believe.
That sounds right.
Then
Let's
left.
go. Yeah,
Let's go left, I guess.
let's go left.
Okay, so left will take you due north. Okay, so the door is immediately behind you. So this corridor tees into that doorway. Okay, the door is closed, heavy wooden door. It's marked as having been passed through by your group. So as you move along, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, you get to about 50 feet and you can see about 30 feet ahead of you in the torchlight, this empties into what appears to be a large room. And as you complete that 30 feet, again, it's kind of that dank smell, stale air, occasionally the smell of animal scat or urine. But again, the nicely worked stone, very dark except for your torchlight. But as you come to where the passageway empties into a room, you see before you the floor covered with a carpet of tufted molds and fungi that extend out to the walls and even all the way up into parts of the ceiling. The room goes straight ahead beyond your torchlight, about 30 feet to the right and several feet off to the west, to the left. You can't really see in the darkness beyond, about the 40 feet of your torchlight. So it looks like you're coming into the southern entry into an L-shaped room where it's, to the west is a 20-foot wide part of the room, and to the north it's about 30 feet wide and beyond your torchlight into the room. And again, you see all these molds, fungi. You can't even see the rock and the stone. The molds are so thick. They're in rainbow assortment of colors. Some of them are splotches. Some of them are like clumps of growth, some swirls. You even see that some of the colors are so garish and clashing that it almost gives you a headache to look at. It's just this crazy, fuzzy fairyland of mold and fungus, mushrooms.
This isn't the same room as we been to
You
before. It doesn't have that impression, does it?
You have stood here before. you see so many different kinds of fungi. And if you look to the northern wing, you can see your torchlight reveals right in the center of that 30-foot wide wing, a 10-foot wide pit that looks like it's about, your torchlight starts to end. You're not too sure how far that pit extends to the north.
I thought the fungus room was through the door. I'm confused now.
Yeah, was the fungus room not through the right door? It was through the left door?
Well, this wasn't a door. This was a passageway that took you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait. No, we came from the other side of the door. Didn't we?
You can see toadstools, morels, all kind of different mushrooms growing up out of this carpet of splendorous, colorful fungus.
Well, we found out that there's something in the pit that we don't want to see, but it seems like we've been everywhere else.
Yeah, it made like a screaming noise or something like that.
Yeah, so I think we've been everywhere else, so should we go through this room?
Let's explore the side of this room that doesn't have the pit. See if there's anything over in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's again, you're in an L-shaped large chamber. To the left, to the west, that wing is about 20 feet from south to north, and then it extends to the west. So if you start to head that way, you can see that that's about 50 feet deep. There's a wall at about the end of 50 feet. You got to go in about 10, 20 feet to see that. And as you move through that and into the fungus and so forth, as you step here and there, not every step, not everywhere, but you see a little poof of spores around your feet.
Yeah, I've got some doctor on my face.
Bear mats got to cover
Yeah,
my
it
face.
doesn't come up and engulf you or anything like that. But you're pretty sure, like, if you do some clogging or dance a reel or a jig, you're going to kick up some serious spores and dust.
Mm-hmm.
But just the way you're walking, it's difficult terrain. You notice you can't move freely like you normally would, just because it's spongy and poofy, and you don't want to trip and fall. You can see shelf fungus as you get further into the room on the walls, big puff balls, all kinds of crazy stuff.
All right. Are there any doorways or anything out of this section?
No, it appears to end in a wall at the west end.
This would be a good time for Stoneheart to tell us if there was any sort of secret passageway.
I know, right?
Who's Stoneheart? Is he a friend of
He's
yours?
a dwarf friend of ours. Yes, we woke up in that room where we found you. He wasn't with us anymore. We're not sure what's happened to him.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna walk along the walls, trying to see if there's anything there that's not completely wall.
Right. It's all that worked stone, but again, there's just this thick carpet of this color spray, sort of. Some places it's kind of clumpy, some places it's more of a smooth carpet, but various funguses of all these different colors. And then here and there, again, you'll see like a cluster of puffballs or some morel-looking mushrooms here and there, maybe a shelf fungus, this dark brown kind of shelf thing against the wall. Toadstools, all kinds of just crazy fungus. You can't really see the stone in a lot of places because it's so grown over with this mold and fungus.
Okay. I can't find anything.
I would know what funguses are safe to touch and what ones aren't, right? Based on...
I think what we'll do is, I'm going to say you're going to understand like a shelf fungus. As you've seen those where they kind of come straight out and they kind of buttress down and attach, at the wall, so it looks like a shelf. And things like morels, and very obvious toadstools that you know to be poisonous. You can recognize those, but there's stuff in here you've never seen. The colors are kind of mind-blowing, and there are other mushrooms and fungus outcroppings and growth that aren't what you would consider to be common, fungus of the woods or the forest that you're familiar with.
At the end of this L shape, I'm going to go up to the wall and just kind of try and scrape away some of the fungus with my axe.
Okay. With a little bit of scraping, you can feel there's stone behind it. You can get to some stone. But it just looks like this room is just carpeted with all this fungus. It's making me want to sneeze, actually.
Do I notice anything in the area I uncovered?
Just the wall, same worked stone.
Yeah, I'm going to pull my rapier. And I'm going to sort of poke, systematically up and down the northern wall there.
Of the west wing?
In the northern wall of the west wing of the cell.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Again, you're in a giant L. The west is just 20 feet wide. The northern spine is 30 feet wide. You're in that western wing. Just poking along randomly, you manage to, dislodge a few mushrooms and, scrape away some of the carpet, maybe cut off one of the clumps, release a few little spore clouds and things, but nothing really of note.
Okay. I mean, should we try the north?
I guess it seems like the only option.
Yeah.
Whatever's in there we can destroy from afar. We don't have to get up close.
All right.
Just to the north.
Wiley, the passage we came in
from the south.
Yep. That 30-foot wide northern section is the eastern wall of that even with the eastern wall of the passage we came in?
No, if you're coming out of the passage, you're in the it goes 20 more feet to the east.
Okay, that's what I.
You came in at where west and north kind of meet. Yeah.
Now I got it.
So if you went straight ahead from the passage, you would be walking up the western wall of the northern wing.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
And inside of that, as you come back over that northern wing, you can see that 10-foot wide pit is about 20 feet long and goes straight north right up the middle of that room. Okay.
10 feet wide, you said?
Yeah.
20 feet long.
Yep.
Okay. I will. I'll walk up and peer over stealthily.
Okay. So you're going to look at the pit?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm going to walk up quietly and.
Again, as you walk along, it's weird too because the room is like incredibly silent. It's like so silent, it almost feels like it's like subtracting sound.
Yeah.
Like it feels. If you've ever walked into like a soundproof recording room, sound booth, where it almost feels like negative sound because of all of that carpety, absorptive fungal material. It's not damp, fungusy, drippy, gross. It's dry, that kind of fungus. So as you kind of lean over the pit, and it's maybe 4 or 5 feet deep. It's hard to tell because it's covered in fungus. There's even on the eastern side of the pit, there's actually some like 6 and 8 foot tall mushroom, like a copse of almost like mushroom trees, some weird unrecognizable fungus. And as you get there, all of a sudden this absolutely deafening shrieking begins to start. Just almost like an alarm. And it is deafening. And it's coming from somewhere around that pit.
Do I see what's making that noise?
You do not. There's a lot of these big fungus. The fungus over near these pits are bigger. Again, some of them are kind of tree-sized, 6-8 feet tall, man-sized, if you will. And you just know there's this almost deafening. It's not causing you pain, but if you plugged your fingers in your ears, you could probably still hear it a little bit. It's shrieking loud.
I am going to pull my bottle of alchemist fire and hurl it into the middle of the pit.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack roll, ranged attack roll.
That's going to be a natural 19.
Okay.
Plus, what is that? Ranged attack roll is plus 3 because of my dexterity.
Okay, that's a hit. God, I'm trying to remember what alchemist fire damage wise.
I can tell you, sir.
Thank you.
That does. It's not dramatic. It's a D4 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to do 4 points of fire damage.
And then for each round, it's a D6 of burning.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they have to be able to make a dexterity check to stop it.
Okay, very good. So you see Pavel step up to the pit, fire this bottle, this potion, and it explodes in a big ball of flame down in the pit. And immediately, anything that stuff landed on is alight. And the shrieking continues. It doesn't really change, but it continues to happen. But you've caused fire to occur.
How deep did you say this pit was?
It looks like maybe 4 or 5 feet. And,
Okay.
that alchemist fire, that gets you a good 6-8 foot radius of, because it splashes. A lot of this is kind of dryish fungus, and it catches and sizzles because there's obviously a lot of moisture in the fungus.
Yeah. So, I am going to pull my rapier and stand in concentration for a second. And I don't know if anyone who can see my face, I open my eyes, and for a flash, they look almost reptilian, dragon-like even. And the tip of my rapier starts to glow burning hot. And I'm just gonna start stabbing at the mushrooms around the periphery of this.
Okay. For every one of those, make an attack roll every time you stab.
All right, how many should I roll?
As many as you want.
Okay. 14.
Okay. You definitely feel yourself slice easily into this meat of this fungus.
And this does, if it is a flammable object, it starts burning.
Okay. So, yeah, as you do this, you light another one on fire. So roll me some damage on that.
Okay, that's going to be D8 plus a D6. I like my new toy.
Bless you.
That's going to be 5 piercing damage. I'm sorry, 8 piercing damage and 2 fire damage.
Okay. So 10 damage. So you've lit one of these, larger fungi alight right along the edge of the edge of that pit there, and it's starting to smolder and fire and burn. Smolder and fire. That's nice.
Next one, I guess.
Okay.
17.
Okay, that's a hit. So he catches another one on fire.
That's going to be 5 piercing, 3 fire.
Okay. Roll the additional fire damage from the alchemy fire and the first rapier, because it's the second round now that you've made another.
I'll just roll 1 die for all of it. Otherwise, that'd be too many rolls. 4.
Okay. So you notice the shrieking. It's still shrieking, but less. Like some of the shrieking has stopped, and some of those fungi and mushrooms down in the pit are kind of burning themselves out. And the one that you stabbed is definitely crispened. You know, when that thing catches fire, because there's so much moisture in the flesh of the mushroom, you know, it bubbles and sizzles and burns down pretty quickly.
Yeah. All right, next one.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Easily stabs through it, catches it on fire.
5 and 2, and then 3 for
Okay, so 10.
round. Next one, I guess. 15.
Okay, it's a good hit.
8 and 2, so 10, and then per round, 3.
Okay. So the shrieking subsides as the second mushroom that you stabbed burns and shrivels. And apparently you managed to burn the source of the shrieking,
Cool.
the squealing. And
I
so
look
that
up.
deathly silence falls.
I think at this point I'll be on like the opposite side from the group, and I look up, burn it like with all the fire and smoke between me and them, and I give them a smile and I'm like, I got it to stop.
Slow clap it out. Well done.
And I focus again, and the tip of my rapier goes back to normal, like not burning hot color.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. On the other side of this pit, is there anything?
So as you advance into the northern wing, 10, 20, 30 feet, you notice a second pit right in line with the first pit. 10 foot wide, 20 feet long.
30 feet from the
identical.
pit?
There's 10 feet separating the end of the first pit from the start of the second pit.
Okay.
So 20 feet away from the entrance into the room is the first pit, 20 feet long, 10-foot gap. Next pit, 20 feet long, and then it's 20 feet to the northern wall. And there's a pile of something you can make out as you approach the northern end of this wing. The chamber, you've noticed, is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 90 feet deep. And kind of there's a pile, a heap of something you're making out in the shadow among all the fungus and moss and mold and all of that, kind of in a heap at the northern wall.
I'm gonna go investigate.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's check out this thing. It's gonna be a 15 for investigation.
Okay. So as you get there, you see it appears to be the remains of an adventurer who met his demise. And by the state of the remains, it looks to be really, really dead a long time ago. Some nasty leather armor pieces, that are dried and curled up, gnarled up. And it's just kind of laying there, various states of decay as far as the clothing. Like it's a bare skeleton, no meat. But even it's been there so long, the clothing is in various stages of rot and decay.
Does he have any pouches on him or anything that I can search?
So you're going to kind of look around the skeleton and dig around, see what you got there?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see he's kind of laying back. There's a short sword near it. It's all kind of in a, it fell in a bent, kinked sort of, fashion. And as you move, to kind of search in that, you kick up a few spores and so forth. And then you sense motion from near the skeleton. This violet, purpley, fungusy mass kind of reaches out to touch you. Oh, yeah. How about a 20 dirty 20?
Yep, that'll do.
Okay. You feel a touch hit your arm, and it kind of it like tries to just envelop around your arm, and you feel this rotting, burning sensation as you feel 8 points of kind of necrotic,
Ugh.
nasty rotting. Your flesh is kind of rotting away as you're hurting.
Oh.
Kind of reminds you of that acidy sort of burny feel. And you notice in the shadows this shambling kind of, I'm going to use the word shambling mound, but it's not a shambling mound, but I love those two words together. But it's this kind of mass of this violet fungus that is kind of animated and sort of, whoops, sort of reached out and touched you, and you have pain.
Ow.
Yeah. And so let's roll initiative.
Damn it.
I'll give you a reaction if you'd like to take one, melee round, and then the group will roll initiative.
All right, I'm gonna try and cut away this stuff off my arm.
Okay.
With one of my hand axes. That is gonna be a Well, that's a natural 19, so.
Okay. That's a hit.
All right, and then.
Quick caveat while she's rolling. My weapons don't just do fire damage now. I read that wrong. If I do fire damage, they catch fire. So
okay.
We'll note that going forward.
That's fine. You just had a really cool ability for about 7 minutes.
Yeah, it just
or
disappeared.
A minute and a half, I should say.
Because I'm bonding with the thing.
So that's 6 damage to whatever this thing is.
Okay. Yeah, so, it kind of shudders. It's just it's a mass of this fungus that seems to have come alive. Let's all roll initiative, please.
23.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
17.
Flint, 17. Harlow?
I muted myself. 19 altogether.
Okay. So, Pavel, you have first go.
Yeah. I'll back up about maybe, I don't know how close I was to it, but I'll back up as far as I can, draw my longbow, and do a bit of a fire.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Okay, it's a hit.
28. Max damage, 12 points.
Nice.
Damage.
Shannon, how much damage did you say you did?
I did 6 damage.
Okay. So you see Pavel back up and boom, fire an arrow, and this thing just goes motionless. And whatever part of it was still kind of touching you is falling away, and you can see your flesh has been eaten away. It's not a burn like an acid burn, but it's been kind of eaten and rotted away. It's nasty.
You hurt?
I'll be okay.
More scars for bar stories?
What's a bar?
It's a place where you
Tavern?
drink alcohol.
The pub, tavern. It's where we all met.
Oh, I didn't know there was a word for that. I thought that every business just sort of served those things.
Nope. That's a bar, a tavern. People tell stories that want to impress somebody.
Yes, it's so impressive being attacked by fungus.
Oh, you don't have to tell the truth. It still could be a cool scar.
I think
There's
I have
some
enough of those.
Okay, so you're out of initiative. Flint, roll me a wisdom.
That's gonna be...
Actually, perception, I'm sorry, but wisdom.
Oh.
Perception check, yeah.
That's gonna be a 22.
Okay, so in the tussle with this fungus that attacked you, you kind of kicked at the skeleton a little bit, inadvertently kicked up some spores, but you glance down and you see a kind of a glint of silver down in the fungus and rotted clothing and the skeleton bones and the violet of the now apparently deceased fungus that attacked you.
I guess I'm gonna go for it.
Okay. What does that mean?
I'm gonna go pick it up.
Okay. Great. So you kind of reach down in there and you feel a very heavy, metallically heavy object, and you draw forth a finely crafted silver dagger. Bright, shiny. The blade looks incredibly clean, like it shouldn't be this clean, because it's been laying there a long time. So it's clearly silver. And it has this really nicely wrapped sort of black. It's black, very, very black, onyx black, jet black, like lizard skin pommel handle. Looks finely made.
Well, I guess I'll add that to my growing collection of daggers from weird places.
Very nice.
I would potentially suggest holding on to that a little more closely. Much of what seems to be in this place seems to be magic in nature.
Alright. So I guess I'm just gonna hang on to it then and sort of twirl it around in my hands. Just sort of gazing at it and analyzing it.
Okay. So you have a nice dagger in your hand. Very
Yay.
nice. Yep. All right. What do you guys want to do? You're kind of in the northern end of the northern wing.
And there's no doors or anything.
No.
Can I try and call the raven again?
Yeah. So you hit the magic word nevermore, and nothing happens.
It's 90 feet deep.
Yeah, it was 90 feet deep from the passageway that you entered into the room.
I'd like to light a torch and throw it down the pit.
Okay, the pit again is only looks like 4 to 5 feet deep, kind of like the first pit. So when you throw that torch in there, the fungus and mushrooms that are flammable catch fire and start to sizzle and pop and crackle.
This wing was 90 feet deep.
Yeah, the pit wasn't. The room was. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I clearly misunderstood that, but
My bad. Sorry about that.
Good.
yeah, that's fine. Okay, in a doorless room full of fungus.
Yes, but Flint got a dagger.
Flint
Yes.
got a dagger.
And part of my arm is decaying.
Is it getting any worse?
I'm sure he'll heal it.
I don't know, is the thing on my arm getting any worse, or is it just sort of stopped?
Yeah, it's just a wound.
Alright.
I'm gonna go over and look at it.
Necrotic damage.
See your wrist.
It looks nasty. It's been eaten away by something.
Poke, poke.
Ow!
This hurt.
Well, you can still feel it. That's something.
Well, okay. You guys gonna help? I don't know if I'll be very useful in this situation. I don't know if you noticed. I'm not a very smart man. We're just in a room full of mushrooms. What are we
Yeah.
supposed to do here?
I think at
think
this
just
point
leave.
we should probably leave.
Okay, but where do we go after that? I thought we'd come through every which way that led to this area.
I'm not sure.
Let's
get
walk
back
back
down
down
to the
that.
entrance.
We'll walk back to the door.
Okay.
All right.
So you're going to exit the room and head all the way back down. And so you're headed due south. This path will end in a right turn, left turn, or a door straight ahead of you. So there's a passageway to the left and a passageway to the right, and it looks like we've lost Flint.
Uh-oh.
Poof.
Oh
Minor technical difficulties.
Left.
You've been to the right. That again, you're back at the intersection where you killed all the kobolds and stuff.
Yeah.
You have not been to the left. You've been through the door.
If we go to the right, if we go to the east, that's where the kobolds were. Or that's
To the
where
right
the
is
spider
west.
was.
Yeah. Left is to the east.
So we've been west.
Correct.
There's a hallway we haven't been down.
To the left,
Which is
which is west.
east.
West. You're headed straight back south. You were going due north into the chamber. You turned around and came out, which takes you going south.
Yes.
Back to the T. Right turn is to the
Well,
west.
if we're facing south, right turn is west. Okay, you just said left turn west. You got me all confused.
Sorry, left turn is east.
You good? Okay, so we have been to the western side. That's where the spiral room was.
Yes.
Okay. let's go
Okay.
east then.
East. Guys, while Flint's gone, I'll just passed out from the shock. I'll just carry Flint for a minute.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay, so you turn left and now you're headed east. You go 30 feet and the passageway turns to the left. Goes 20 more feet and there is a dead end and a door on your left.
Go through the door on the left.
Okay. The
I'll
door
mark
is
it.
unmarked. You've just marked it. Okay. So you open this door into a long and narrow room. It looks like maybe it was a meeting space or a banquet, some kind of something like that. There's 10 wooden benches scattered about the room. Some are overturned, some are not. Almost 15 feet in length. There's a large stone slab at the northern end of the room. It looks like it's kind of a stage or a dais. The room is actually 20 feet from east to west, and it goes several feet to the north, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet to the north. And
What
it goes.
direction was the door in that hallway?
The door was facing west, so you enter the doorway, and it goes 50 feet to the north, 20 feet straight ahead, 10 feet to the left. So you're in a long, narrow room. You've entered from the eastern wall. And at the northern end of the room is kind of a raised, almost like a stage area, like where a lectern might have been, a speaker might stand to speak. And you hear squeaking sounds that are quite familiar to you as those of rats. And they sound like big squeaks, like, bigger than normal rats. Again, kind of like the rats you encountered up in the tower basement. Sounds like there's probably a handful of giant rats in here.
Okay. You said the room was 20 foot wide, 50 feet deep.
Yeah, if you're standing in the doorway, it goes 50 feet to your right, which is north, 20 feet across, 10 feet to the left to a wall.
Okay.
So north to south, it's a total of 70 feet, and east to west, it's 20 feet across. And it's benches, tables. There were some decorative, banners of various colors on the walls, kind of torn and rotting and deteriorating. And you can hear the scuttling and scurrying and squeaking of rats, but it doesn't appear that they're more like scattering than they are coming to you. But otherwise, it's all walls all the way around the room. You don't see any doors, doorways, windows, anything.
All right. I'm going to walk carefully through the room. Go at the ready in case of attack, and walk to the dais at the north side.
Okay.
I'm gonna put
so
Flint down and follow.
What did I miss? What happened?
You were gone, so I just picked you up. That's about it.
So you enter the room, and the rats kind of scatter, but you can tell there's little rats, and you can tell there's some big rats. But they seem to be kind of scattering around the room, mostly making their way away from you as you walk through the room.
Yeah, like I said, I continue on to the dais.
Okay. It looks like, again, like a place where a speaker would stand to kind of command the room, give a presentation, give a talk.
I don't know.
I'll shout down the room. Pavel, check around the lectern and see if there's any compartments or anything.
Yeah, I'll take a more detailed look around this area.
Okay. It seems that there was, there's a few panels of those tapestries, on the floor, along the walls have fallen, and it looks like there was an arrangement of them, along that northern wall. Give me a perception check. They're all still kind of hanging, tattered, torn. There's some cloth and debris in and around on and around the dais.
Nat 20.
Okay. So you notice in and around the pile of like burlap and cloth or near the dais that there seems to be a pile of little shinies.
I will collect. So.
Yeah, so you quickly pick up 11 silver and 5 gold. 3 small uncut pieces of what looks to be like purple quartz, probably worth 20-25 gold each. Nice little gems. And a little silver pin, almost like a lapel pin or something that might be worn out on a tunic. No marks or runes, but it has 3 little emeralds set in it, 3 little green gems. And so you'd guess this thing is worth probably more than 100 gold. Nice little piece of jewelry.
Cool. I will use it to pin the bear cloak together instead of the crude, little piece of wood I'd been using.
Yeah.
Now it's fancy.
Still smells.
Hey, we're in a dungeon. We're all gonna smell.
Okay.
Alright, but no, nothing on the wall, no, secret passages.
No, your perception check did not reveal anything other than the shiny little items there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll walk back to the group. I found a few things. Just a little bit of money, a couple gems, and this. But no, it doesn't seem like there's anything in this room.
Okay.
Back to the door.
Okay. The passageway that brought you here dead-ended. As it was going due north, the door was in that west wall if you were in the passageway. So you come back out and you're in that passageway.
Yep. Back to the door.
So you can go 30 feet south and then to the right, which takes you to the west. And if you go 30 feet, you have a door on your left, the passageway to the fungal garden thing, or the passageway straight that would lead you back to the spiral staircase eventually.
Through the door?
Through the door.
Okay. So you open the door, and immediately it opens into a passageway, into a hallway, where you can go to the west or to the east. You've recognized that you've come from the west. As you go through this intersection now, kind of 3 times in a row, it occurs to you that you came through the door from the west. You came through the door you've just now opened. And when you got to this intersection of passageways, that's when you encountered those kobolds. So if you were to go back through this door and you're facing south in the doorway, you turn right, that would take you back west. If you turn left, you could go a way you've never been before.
The way we've never been before.
To the left.
Okay.
I'll mark the door again, just kind of as a second time.
It twice. So if you go left, after 40 feet, it turns left again, and that has you going due north. And that takes you 30 feet to a door. Again, these are the big, heavy oak, nicely constructed doors. When you open them, you can tell they're heavy. You can see they're thick, but they're on such fine balance and pins that they just silently pull open. Very well crafted. This door has no markings.
Is it on the east wall or the south wall?
The north wall.
hate this map.
You came through the doorway, turned left, which was taking you east. You went 30, 40 feet,
Yeah, I
turned
know.
left, which is taking you north.
I know.
And so you're
I'm
at a
just
door.
saying that the way I've drawn the map, which I feel like should be right, it doesn't work. It shouldn't work the way it does. But
It wraps around
we're
the
good.
hallway you were just in that took you into the room with the
know.
rats.
I don't know, but I'm just saying that it's more an issue with the two rooms that we were in, the big L shape and then the 50-foot long one. It's fine.
So you're at a doorway facing north.
Yeah, mark it and go through.
Okay.
So you open the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
You can go 10 feet and it turns left 10 feet and it turns right again 10 feet. So it's just like a 20-foot little jag, west then north again. And the passageway continues on and vanishes into your torchlight. Goes beyond, the passageway goes beyond what your torchlight reveals.
Okay.
Yep, we'll go through the little S bend and
Okay.
the little jog left.
Keep
And
So
going
you
west.
can go along 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. At 70 feet, there's a little 10-foot deep, 10-foot wide box alcove on your right that dead ends into a wall. And
I'm gonna
the
look that
path
up.
continues.
That's suspicious. Let's look it up.
Okay. What you gonna do?
I would like to investigate that.
Okay. How will you investigate that?
Huh. Did I just randomly get muted?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sorry. So I want to definitely take a look at this. Or anybody better at this than I am, any more investigative? We've come across this stuff before and there's something here, so we should look at it.
Not me.
I mean, definitely not me.
I'll take a look.
Okay.
I'll help you.
Perception?
Alright. That's one of my good things. Let's do it. That is gonna be a 19.
Okay. It appears to be of the same hewn stone material you've seen all the other walls. It's a 10-foot alcove. Appears to be undisturbed.
Nothing special, no secret stone buttons.
Yeah, looks like a stone wall.
Aw.
Okay, we'll continue on the path.
Okay.
All
All right. So you can continue on. At 60 feet, the passageway turns to the right. Continues on 10, 20, 30 into a four-way intersection. You're currently facing east. There's a passageway to the south that goes down a couple of steps and down that hallway. Looks oddly familiar.
We're back at the entrance.
It's a 10-foot wide hallway, and if you look about 20 feet down, there are alcoves on either side with giant statues holding swords. There's a hallway to the left that goes 10 feet, has a door on each side, and it also goes straight. If you had to guess, give me perception, Pavel, Harlow, and Flint.
Natural 1.
21.
17.
Okay, so Harlow, you kind of stand there looking around, scratching,
I'm a city
Maybe-
girl. I know nothing.
wiping a little drool off your corner of your mouth. But Pavel and Flint, you in particular, Pavel, you know for a fact those were those statues that animated when you first arrived. And
Yeah.
as such, you remember going to the east once you got past those statues. So you came in from the right and you had been down the passageway straight. You also know that those two doors, if you take the north passage, you make a left turn and take the north passage, the door on the west wall, you've been through because it's marked. The door on the east wall, you have not. And the passageway continues to the north. So you've reached kind of a major intersection here that appears to be the first major intersection past those animated statues with the big swords from when you first entered Casker. I'm sorry? You're frozen in this thoughtful pose.
Oh, technology issues abound.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's so funny the way he's sitting there.
I don't remember going.
So the way you're facing right now, you're facing the east. The passageway to the south is, there he goes, is the main entrance that you came in from.
Okay, so I do not recall going. I was pretty sure we had gone directly east right away. I don't remember going through any of the doors in the north.
You did go directly east right away. But through your travels, you've been through that door that's on the west side of the northern passage. There's a door on the east side you've not been through, and the northern passage continues and looks very familiar to you.
I'm gonna look through the. I'm gonna look in the door to the west. Is it the room where we fought the little scuttly horror?
Scuttly horror?
Yeah, the multi-legged monster thing that.
Yeah, there's a dead
I run away from.
giant zillipede crawly thing laying in that narrow 10-foot wide galley kitchen type pantry sort of room.
Alright.
Yes, that is the room.
I will walk across the hall, X, and open that door.
Okay. I have a piece of paper for that. Bear with me. Okay. You open the door. And as you open the door, oops, sorry about that. It's a 20-foot wide room, about 40 feet long. Looks like it might have been a dining hall of sorts. Okay. Nicely carved wooden mantle, kind of like a big high wainscoting, about 7 feet off the ground, like a shelf. Goes around the entire exterior of the room. Stone walls have some pleasant designs carved in them, sort of pastoral, scenery of woods and deer and things like that. Number of tables and chairs, all pretty utilitarian wooden construction. Few places where there's kind of a pale green mold. Smells musty and mildewy in here. And as you enter the room, you hear kind of this hissing and the sounds of chains on wood and scruffling and hissing, and you see these three kind of ghastly, half-rotted sort of creatures in this room, and they appear to be focused upon a stone table, and there's this huge creature that reminds you very much of the creature that had absconded with the little halfling children early in your adventure. But this thing looks to be not right. It looks half-rotted, almost maybe not living. It has this blackness, death to its eyes, much like the three sort of pale, gaunt, white, robed kind of creatures that it appears to be having some kind of a battle, like the large creatures got a big giant morning star, and the three things are, as you enter the room, they're all focused on one another, hissing, and the giant creature's got these chains around his wrists, and they're kind of dragging on the floor as he's moving around this table, apparently about to get into some sort of a fight with these three creatures. And you've walked in on what appears to be some sort of fight, ritual, something entirely not holy.
Yeah, this is disgusting. I take out my bow. Are they all like right on top of each other?
Yeah, they're probably about, the room goes 20 feet wide, 30 feet deep. There's a little alcove that goes 40 feet, 10 more feet along the north wall. And then there's like a passageway down in the southeastern corner of the room. And they're kind of in the middle of the room around tables. Chairs are knocked over. and they're all they're in hand-to-hand combat. You're probably, I'd say, 20 feet from the closest creature. They've not seen you. You've opened the door into this scene, and that's what you're presented with.
I take my bow. I pour the magic energy into the upper, to one of the 2 strips of leather, and let fly with bursting arrow.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Go ahead and roll me an attack. So you guys see Pavel throw the door open and immediately draw his bow and magical energy, and he fires.
At 20.
That's not bad. That's good timing for that. So,
yep.
Tell me what happened. Who are you aiming at?
I am aiming to hit the big boy, but if you recall, bursting arrow does not do damage to the one it doesn't do like piercing damage to the one it hits. It does force damage to the one it hits and everything around it within 20
when it
feet.
Explodes. Yeah.
Yep. And because I crit, that's 4d6.
Nice.
Jeez.
Do you not recall, Wiley? That's how I took out those 3 flying kobolds at once.
Yes. Yep.
Nice. That's going to be 17 damage.
Okay. So you burst into the room, and the force of that arrow exploding causes some serious damage to these creatures. And they shriek, and they're all confused and dumbfounded, and you all hear all of this hissing and shrieking and this just god-awful unholiness.
I'll
I'll
look at them and shout, zombies, and step back a little bit so they can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and so you see kind of what I described earlier, those 3 very pale, almost not living creatures surrounding this other really large dude, and they're having some melee, some attacking, but they've all taken some damage from Pavel's amazing arrow attack.
Okay, just so I'm clear, did we go through the door I've never gone through before, or did we go through the room with
That's the door that
deadly
you've never
terror?
opened.
I looked into the room on the west, but we'd already been in there, so I opened the door on the east.
Gotcha. Yep. Two creepy shambling things and a big boy.
3 and a big boy. 3 and a big boy.
3 and a big boy. Okay.
Yep. So with that, let's roll initiative. Right now, Pavel's the only one in the doorway.
I got a 12.
Me too.
16.
8.
So Pavel 16,
Correct.
Flint 12, Lathyrus 12, Harlow 8. Okay, Pavel, you have the initiative.
All right. I'm going to fire at a snaky boy. Uh, 18.
Okay, you fired at one of the white, sort of the smaller guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that hit?
Yeah.
Cool. Seven.
Okay.
7 points of damage. Damage. And I step back away from the doorway.
Okay. Okay, so that was creature number 1 that you did 7. And so you don't enter the room, you step back.
Correct.
Okay. Flint. No, excuse me. Yeah, Flint. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go charging into the room with both my hand axes. I'm going to rage, and I'm going to attack the big boy.
Okay.
So let's see here. Natural 20.
Holy
Jeez.
Yes. So I do what? Double damage?
Double the
Two,
dice.
2 dice rolls.
All right. So, oh my god, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. This is going to be 16 damage on
Okay.
one axe attack. The other axe attack is a natural 1, so that kind of counteracts that.
Ting.
So yeah, just the one axe attack will make it, I guess.
Okay. Make me a dex save at disadvantage.
Oh no. Oh my god. I rolled 2 19s.
Okay, so you manage to hang on to your hand axe. You don't lose it in the crit fail. Okay. So you're face to face with Big Baddie. You're in there with 3 creatures and the Big Baddie, and it is now Lathyris' turn.
Okay, so my audio cut out when you were describing the depth of the room. How far away are we from these creatures?
Okay, so the doorway, the creatures were about 25, 30 feet into the room. So from your doorway, if you move 30, you can be in melee. Flint is in there with them, amidst the 3 smaller creatures, kind of half surrounded. She blew right through them, went after Big Baddie. So she's toe to toe or face to kneecap with this big honkin' baddie.
Guess I'll Goring Rush. I'm
nice.
gonna Goring Rush the Big Daddy.
Okay.
22 to hit.
22 will hit.
All right.
So Flint, you see this big furry minotaur guy go flying by you, horns down.
Okay, and that's 15 damage.
Okay, describe for me. Oh wait, hang on. Yeah, describe for me how this guy goes down. You blast into this thing, gore it, shred it open beneath the sternum, right? Tell me the rest of how that goes.
Gore it open, shred it beneath the sternum. Aisha is a fun little thing. Reach inside it while it's pinned down by the horns and just rend it in 2.
Okay. Yeah, and it's deceased or re-deceased, or I don't know, but just like the life or the unlife comes out of it, and it just kind of slumps and lays there lifeless as you just kind of pull it apart.
Nice.
Okay, so the 3 not so big baddies, since I have 2 people in the room, one will make its way toward the door. One's going to attack Flint, one's going to attack Lathyris. Okay, so Lathyris. Does an 18 hit you?
Yes.
Okay. You take 8, and I need you to make a con saving throw DC 10. And the second claw attack missed.
Okay. Oh, I just miss it.
Okay, so you see as this thing gets a claw in and rakes across the Minotaur's back as he just finished taking down this giant thing. And the Minotaur just, like, you could see he's not dead or anything, but his eyes are looking around. He can't move.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm a dingus. I forgot to look at my saving throw area, not at the actual bonus. I do make it because
Okay.
I have a
And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, that hurt. Okay.
I forgot I had a +4.
Very good. So you're not paralyzed.
I'm fine.
That's good. Okay. And then Flint, you have one on you. Does a 15 hit?
Nope.
How about a nope? Okay. So it just slashes at you with its claws, hissing, it's spitting fangs, and you can, it's facing you, and you can look into its eyes, and they're just dead pools of death. There's just nothing alive about this thing.
Dead pools of death. Very
Dead
nice.
pools of black death, yeah. And then one is coming toward the doorway. I've got Pavel and Harlow, so I'm just going to go even odd. Even as Pavel. And I got odds, so it's going to try and take a swipe at Harlow. Does a 10 hit you?
Nope.
How about a 15?
Yes.
Yes. How about a 9 from a claw? Make a con saving throw DC 10.
$11.
You're there. Okay, so again, nothing happens to you beyond the damage.
And 9 damage?
Yes.
Okay.
And we are up to Harlow.
Yes.
You have a creature in front of you.
Yeah, he's getting an Eldritch Blast right to the face.
The gold tiefling is pissed.
14.
Okay, that is a hit.
And that is a D10. That's 3 is 9.
Okay.
And 7 bonus.
So 9 damage?
Yep.
Okay, so this is your golden blast of Eldritch energy. Just blasts this thing in the chest, kind of moves it out of the doorway. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
Is it still alive?
Yeah. Yep, this was all 3 took that force damage. Deuter number 1 is the one that Pavel did the additional damage to, and then Deuters 2 and 3, 1 attacked Lythira, 2 attacked Flint. The one you just hit is number 3. So 2 of the 3 have more damage than 1 of the 3 does. That was a really crappy explanation.
No, actually, okay. No, I'm done. Good.
Okay, we're back to the top of the order. So Pavel, it is your turn.
You're muted.
Sorry, there are 2 guys left, or
There are 3 of those creatures up. The biggie is down.
Okay. And there's 1 at each of my buds. Okay. Well, I don't want to fire into melee. That's not a good idea. So, I'll transfer my bow to my left hand, pull my rapier, and stab the one that's attacking Harlow.
Okay, yeah, you guys are both kind of out in the passageway. That's an easy attack to make.
That's going to be... What's my modifier for this? It's 5. 18.
Okay, that's a hit.
Okay. Cute. 1d8 plus 3. 10.
Okay. Definitely looking kind of rough. An arm drops off of it, and it's hissing and it's spitting, and still trying to engage with you. Anything else you want to do in your turn?
action surge and hit it again.
Okay.
23.
It's a hit.
That's a hit.
Not a problem.
5.
Okay. Describe for me how you dispatch with your second attack for the round. This.
Yeah, I just sort of stab through the back of its skull. Pretty
Okay.
quick and simple.
Yeah, and it just kind of hisses and goes silent and drops off of your blade, falls at your feet, and you can hear the other two engaged with Lethyrus and Flint in the room, and we are down to Flint now.
All right, 2 axe attacks to this guy in front of me.
You're on Duder number 2, who's the least hurt of the two.
Yep, that's gonna be a 14,
Okay, that is a hit.
and then that's gonna be 10 damage.
Okay, that's definitely a gash.
And another axe attack, which is gonna be 17.
Okay, that's a hit.
And that's gonna be 9 damage.
Okay, looking pretty rough. Still up, hissing and sputtering. Took a chunk out of it. You know, it's just looking you in its eyes. You can tell it wants to consume you as it hisses and spits at you and tries to claw at you. Lethyrus, you're up.
I would like to gore the one in front of me. Not a goring
Okay.
rush, but a gore. Let's see. 16 to hit.
It's a hit.
Ooh, full damage, so that's 12 damage. And then it must succeed on a DC 12 strength saving throw, or be pushed 5 feet away and knocked prone.
Okay. You said that was a strength?
Strength.
Oh man, you just blast this thing off its feet and it is now prone.
Nice.
Rolled a 2. Okay. It is their turn. I have 1 on Flint. Okay, 18 and 15. Are those hints, Flint?
Oh, sorry, I just
Claw,
totally
claw.
zoned out. Yeah, no, they don't hit.
Either hits? Okay. So it just swipes at you wildly and misses you. Harlow, it is your go. You're in the hallway. There's a deceased, whatever this is, and you can see Flint engaged and Lethyrus engaged.
I'm thinking Lethyrus is probably a little bit stronger than Flint, so I'm going to Eldritch. Eldritch Blast the one on Flint.
Okay.
That is a natural 19, so that'll be a
Good hit.
20 or 24.
Yep. Good hit.
And let's say it'll be 13.
Okay. Describe for me how you dispatch this unholy
You'll see the
entity.
golden crackling ball coming towards his head. And since I did get a little bit of an injury, there's a little bit of red lightning in it. And where Flint is standing, she just sees this thing just hitting the head and just brings it right over. Destroys the head.
Nice. So you see this thing just kind of blow the head apart, and it falls right beside you. Top of the order, Pavel. There's 1 remaining engaged with Lethyrus.
All right, I'll run up and give it a poke.
Okay, you can get there.
10.
That is a miss. So as you get to it, it kind of, it's wobbly and it's looking rough, but it's able to kind of bat your blade away and hiss and spit at you. Flint.
All right, I'm gonna just basically leap onto this guy and whack at him with my axes. That's gonna be a 19 to hit with the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be 6 damage.
Okay, tell me how you dispatch this last.
I'm basically just in like a primal rage right now, screaming obscenities and primordial and just hacking and slashing at this thing over and over. He's basically getting minced.
Wow. Yeah, so you see Flint just lose her shit on this thing and just start hacking it to pieces, and it falls. And so around you is the carnage of these rancid smelling, fetid, rotting corpse. You're in your mind, they were just alive, but in your rational side of your mind, you can't figure out how or why, because they're clearly dead, including the big baddie, who is apparently some form of ogre in its real life, but obviously some unholy aberration that you were able to take down with your goring rush.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of stand there looking around. Again, there's 2 chairs that you notice now that the dust has settled from melee along the northern wall in that little alcove in the northeast corner of the room. Nicely carved wooden chairs, kind of on a raised wooden platform. Looks like maybe that whole platform's been kind of pushed back in there.
I guess I'll go take a look.
Okay. Yeah, so they're big walnut chairs that are actually affixed to that dais that they're on. Apparently they might be, your guess would be maybe Zeligar and Rogon's kind of dining chairs. But the neat thing about, they're all ornately carved, beautiful, kind of a burled walnut. And they're actually all one piece with the dais they're sitting on. So they've been carved out of this huge chunk of walnut that must have come from a huge tree. Beautiful workmanship. The sad thing about it is the seats and some of the backing have this green mold that's kind of developed on there, basically ruining the chairs. That's just grown out of disuse.
I'm gonna scrape off that mold.
Okay. Yeah, the wood's in pretty rough shape. I don't know, the mold with moisture, it's kind of, you can see where the wood's warped and split a little bit. You could guess that maybe somebody, with your woodsman background and your mentor, somebody could probably, if they worked really hard at this, bring these back to life. But, you also realize that they weigh a lot. That's a heavy, dark, hard wood.
Yeah, for sure. I think for the time being, I'll just take a seat, catch my breath after the quick skirmish.
Mm-hmm. As you're seated on those, they kind of face to the south. If you remember, there was kind of a 10-foot wide passage or alcove in the southern wall heading south, and that goes about 20 feet to a door. And that is where we're going to stop right there.
Okay.
At the end of your battle.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like 11:30, and I'm going to turn into a pumpkin, and I'm sure Steven's ready for some night. Man.
All right.
So, man, that wraps up. You guys covered some more of this dungeon. You're about halfway through the level you're on right now. So,
oh my God, it's only half.
It's huge. It's huge.
I know. It's got to be like the south half, because I remember a couple northern paths that we didn't take.
Yeah, you've almost entirely, the doorway that's in this chamber, you have not passed through. But yeah, most of the southern half is done. The tower you've been through, you've cleared that. So you're making progress, but as you go through this thing, you realize, man, these guys built a huge complex. You've seen storage, dining, some barracks, the room with the pools, the fungus garden room, all the labyrinth, all the different sleeping quarters. And you realize these guys must have had some wealth and some really excellent stoneworking friends to have constructed this huge complex in the flinty stone of the flinty hills.
Boy, oh boy.
Okay. Any thoughts on the end of this thing as we wrap things up?
Other than the fact that I got a freaking legendary item. No.
I want to see my raven again.
You will, don't worry. If it is what I think it is, metagame knowledge prevailing. I won't tell you, but you'll see it again.
I was wondering if it was familiar or not.
Can't say.
Any other thoughts, Flint or Lethyrus? Any thoughts, comments, highs, lows on this evening's?
Flint is just gonna be scarred up this whole time. Like stuff's just eating away at her flesh, and she.
I mean, we can be scar buddies because I've got some really nasty claw marks.
Yeah, I don't think I want to be your buddy right now. You knocked my bow out of my hand. You could have broken her.
I wasn't myself. I wanted to fuck the bird lady. Okay.
The bird lady. That's nasty. So, let's just quickly go around the horn here again. Tell us who you are, where we can find you. And this group will be back in 2 Wednesdays. So the Wednesday after New Year's, if everybody's free, 8 p.m., we'll be right back here continuing our dungeon delve into the unknown is the name of this classic Gary Gygax B1 module retooled for D&D 5e by Goodman Games. How about Abby Lethyrus?
I'm Abby, Lascasidio across the internet. I don't do much of anything besides go to school.
That's a lot.
That's about what I do.
Cool. Awesome. Arlo.
I am Miss Miseries. You can see my token, my thingy right there. And follow me on Twitter because I am a couple of different games and I alwast post about them there.